Alright mate, sorry, I don't want to leave it too much.
At Sussex Cricket, we're always pushing the limits. Searching for that extra edge, that winning formula.
It's about the small gains, the marginal improvements and the dedication to perfection.
But the pursuit of victory doesn't stop on the pitch.
Behind the scenes, Webtrends Optimise is working their magic, optimising our digital journeys, making sure every click counts.
From filling the stands with roaring fans to getting them kitted out in their Sharks gear, Webtrends Optimise helps us connect with our community.
Because nothing fuels our players more than a packed house, a sea of Shark shirts, the energy of our incredible fans.
On the pitch and online, it's a team effort. Sussex Cricket and Webtrends Optimise.
Optimise for victory.
Really, because Sussex have beaten Glamorgan twice, but other than that, Glamorgan have had a really good run in this competition, and I think at the beginning most people look at, you know, Somerset and Surrey in this group, then it's sort of any two from the rest really, but I don't think Glamorgan were probably in the equation. So they are, you know, they're the dark horses, and they're in good position in this group.
Yeah, they punched a bit above their weight, most certainly. I think it's one change for each side, is it, in terms of their previous outings? What are Sussex doing with their team?
Yeah, so it's a big boost for Sussex. Tom Alsop comes back into the side. Now, Tom Alsop did damage a calf. So many of these games are back-to-back matches now, and the feeling was he damaged his calf down in Cardiff off the back of a trip overnight on the coach. So he missed the game here against Hampshire on Saturday, and he's a big miss, Tom Alsop. So goes without saying, he's therefore good news for Sussex. He's back in the side. He bats number 6. He's hard hitting. And it's just what Sussex missed, I felt, on Sunday. So he comes into the side, Finn Hudson-Prentice drops out, and that's the only change from that defeat against Hampshire at the weekend.
One for Kent as well. It's a batter in for a bowler. So Chris Benjamin, who we thought, having injured himself or been injured, dislocating his shoulder early in the T20 Blast campaign, the medical team said he'd be out for the season.
Wow.
He said, I'm hoping to get back for somewhere in the T20 Blast. He has worked his way back into the team, so he's playing Kent Premier League cricket at the weekend and is back in the side today at the expense of Matt Parkinson. Looking at the bowling, that leaves them with 3 frontline bowlers, if you like, the all-rounder Joey Evison, and then a 5th bowler to make up, probably between 3 part-timers, Jack Leaning, Joe Denley and Tawanda Miyeye. And I'm wondering, because I know you've been out for the toss and had a little look at the pitch, whether they've looked at this. I think it's going to carry pretty well, probably come onto the bat pretty well, going to be good for batting. Maybe they thought more batting, it may not matter how penetrative our bowling is, put it that way.
I think that's right. It's the pitch that was used on Saturday for the game against Hampshire. It was also used for the women's match before that game. We had a double header here. The women played Middlesex. It's a pitch it's a good pitch. I think there'll be some bounce in the pitch, and I think you're absolutely right. It won't be like the pitch. Down at Cardiff, sometimes they can be a bit slow and low, can't they? But here, I think this is going to be a good pitch with plenty of runs in it. So, if you're talking about Sussex batting first, the relatively short boundaries here at Hove, I think, a good score, you're looking 180, 190. I'm just looking at what Hampshire got on Saturday, 196 for 8. Now, that was more than enough. But I think that's the sort of score that you're batting first here that you're looking to post.
Yeah, and I guess batting first again it's a statement of intent, isn't it? And if the ball's coming off the bat very nicely, then it's a question perhaps of setting a target which puts real scoreboard pressure on the opposition.
Yes, it is. And I was looking at that game actually down at Canterbury last week, where Sussex made 195 for 9. Kent eventually made 161, and that was about scoreboard pressure. I mean, Harry Finch batted really nicely for Kent, and for a while Kent were really in the hunt, but when he got out, suddenly you saw the run rate going up, 10s, 11s, 12s, and people are coming in and have to throw the bat straight away. So it was certainly scoreboard pressure that did for Kent down at Canterbury last week. But as I say, Finch batted well, and I think with another batter in the side, that's perhaps what Adam Hollyoake has decided is the way forward here tonight.
Yeah, feels like a bold move, because he don't have an enormous amount of flexibility, not having a fourth frontline bowler in there. But there we go. They need something, Kent, as I said, most assuredly, and it does look like. I mean, I think you could probably do some maths, which is way out of my my league, to suggest that they could win 3 and lose 1. But I think that would mean that other results would have to be pretty wild and wonderful, I think,
I repeat this story very boringly every year. I remember 3 or 4 years ago, Essex coming here, Matt, and the guys from BBC Essex said, we're out of this, we're awful. And with that, they beat Sussex. I think they won their 4 remaining group games. On the last day, a whole sequence of results went their way. They got to the quarter-final, which they won. They got to finals, they won the whole competition. So, it can happen.
And similarly, Gloucestershire were the greatest team at halfway in the group stages, and as you say, snuck into 4th place in the South Group and won the whole thing.
Yeah.
It can be done, and there is. Well, I think it almost feels like an apocryphal tale now, but I believe it happened because Kevin James from BBC Southern keeps telling us about it. But Hampshire, I think, at the turn of 3-4 seasons ago, had won maybe one game or hadn't won a game. They won the last 7 in the group, and that really was extraordinary.
Yes,
then won the whole thing. So it can be done. There are different ways of doing it, but there we go. And I'm sure Sussex would rather it was slightly less tense than that.
And actually, there is a game that's already underway tonight, an important game in the group, because Middlesex are playing Hampshire at Merchant Taylor's School tonight. So that's an important game, and we'll keep an eye on that one, Matt, because I think both sides will be hoping if Hampshire lose, that's good news for both Kent and for Sussex as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Hampshire above Kent on a net run rate, I believe, here in 5th place. So the table looks a bit strange this year to most of us because there's now 4 points for a win, aren't there? So
yeah, that's sort of snuck under the radar a bit. I didn't realise that until the competition started. But I'm just looking at that game. Middlesex made 187 for 8 in their 20 overs, so a decent score. But Hampshire Hawks 42 without loss after 4. So I feel that's a game Hampshire must win. I think they must win 4 out of 4, Hampshire.
Yeah.
But Sussex go there at the weekend. So it's all to play for. But both sides really do need a win tonight. I think probably Kent marginally more than Sussex. I think defeat for Kent, and they might be done for. Sussex they can ill afford to lose, but if they won their remaining 4, they're still very much in the hunt. So, but an important game, and decent sized crowd, beautiful evening, couldn't be better, Matt.
You were saying it might be the biggest crowd here, is that right?
Yes, it was. That's what I was told. They'd sold more tickets for this than any other game so far, is what I was told. I know the game against Surrey next week, apart from hospitality packages, is completely sold out.
Wow.
But it looks like a decent. And why wouldn't you want to come to cricket? I mean, if you can't fill a ground on a night like tonight, well, it's a wonderful night for cricket.
Yeah, lovely warm evening. It's going to be Fred Klaassen, the Dutchman from the sea end here at Hove, bowling, and just a defensive shot there from Harrison Ward to start, deflects it into the offside. Scored 50 here in a winning cause last year against Kent. I obviously blanked that one out of my memory, but 61 I think he scored.
He got an amazing catch here against Hampshire at the weekend. I think it will go down as probably one of the top catches of the season. It was magnificent. But he's here to bat.
Yeah, this time, or at this point, and the straight back at Fred Clarkson this one. Not a great pace if you've not seen Fred Clarkson before. He's big and he's built like a fast bowler, left arm over the wicket, but particularly in this form of cricket, does vary his pace and doesn't bowl breathtakingly fast, but uses movement and movement off the pitch as well to fool the batters. That left arm option important to so many sides. Of course, Tamal Mills will be doing that for Sussex. Over the wicket, oh, it's a swing and a miss, and through to wicket-keeper Sam Billings, who's never shy of throwing the ball up as if it's been caught off an edge. I don't think he thought it was, and certainly the umpire didn't. So good start from Clarkson though, just fading away from the batter.
Yeah, I thought he bowled very nicely down at Canterbury the other night. Actually, his 4 overs just went for 27, and he was very impressive. He started well here.
Yeah, can be very tidy indeed. Fred Clarkson bowls now to Ward. Again, looks like Ward's trying to work that into the onside. It's just come straight down the track. He's trying to get slightly inside the line there, and it's straightening him up just a trifle. So maybe there is just a bit of movement off this pitch early on. So 4 dot balls to start here at Hove. You can hear the hubbub of the crowd, and the great atmosphere is going to be rising in temperature, I suppose, through the evening. It's a punch up to mid-off, and that's fielded by Nathan Gilchrist, who throws the ball back to Sam Billings, and fielded by Daniel Bell-Drummond. We'll go through the two sides in a second, because this will be the last ball of the first over, and Fred Clarkson is 1 ball away from bowling those, well, it's a bit like the golden egg, isn't it? A maiden over.
Yeah, you don't see too many maidens in T20 cricket.
Hen's teeth. Here comes Clarkson, then bowling to Ward, who ruins that. Oh, and in style! That's over cow corner for 6. He's pulled that away, and didn't give enormous amounts of width there, Fred Clarkson. Well, there we are. That's T20 cricket for you. Who'd be a bowler? I don't think he's done much wrong with that. Just a little bit short of the length. Maybe he's gone back of a length, but it's in the slot for Harrison Ward, and he has flayed that, beautifully timed, having gone for 5 dots, 6 at the end. Doesn't look so bad. 6 for none.
Yes, well done, Harrison Ward, because when you're out there, you've got a decent crowd, and your first 5 balls have all been dots. You're probably thinking, "Oh crumbs, I need to sort of get on with it here." However, he did hit a 6, so 6 off of the first over. Other than that, a very good over from Fred Clarkson, and it's going to be Tom Rogers who's going to open the bowling from the Cromwell Road end. For the benefit of our Kent listeners who perhaps don't know the ground, he'll be running down the slope from the Cromwell Road end. It's a slope of about 10 feet from one end of the ground to the other, running down towards the sea end, the sea about 500 yards behind us. As in comes Rogers, bowls to Hughes, who works this down to third man, picks up a single, does Daniel Hughes, the Australian. Sussex go to 7 without loss. At this stage of proceedings, Kent have to have only allowed 2 fielders outside of the 30-yard circle, which is denoted by white rings around the outfield. There's a third man, is one of those. The other one, where's the other one? I can't see where the other one is.
Blending in with the crowd somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, here we are.
Oh,
down at deep backward
that's
square.
under me, there we are. The boundary, yeah.
Round to our right-hand side.
Joey Evison, I think, down at deep third.
In comes Rogers, right up over the wicket. Bowls to Ward with a play and a miss, and I suspect that didn't miss the off stump by very much.
I don't think it did, certainly from Rogers' reaction. They've got a slip in, haven't they? Jack leaning there. Yeah.
Oh, crumbs, that didn't miss that much.
That is very, very close indeed. Benefit the replay. Goodness me, that's close.
He bowled very well at Canterbury, actually, did Tom Rogers.
Yeah.
Again, his 4 overs just went for 27. So certainly these 2 openers, Clarkson and Rogers, were both very impressive last Friday night, as Rogers is in again, down the hill, bowls, he sits on the pad, or the thigh pad is Harrison Ward. The ball bounces out onto the offside, and there is no run. I think Kent will be pretty pleased with their efforts in these first 9 balls.
Yeah, I'd agree. Tom Rogers has been very good throughout the blast. Did take some tap on Sunday, but really Glamorgan were just so relaxed, the openers, they could just swing for the fences, because Kent only put 118 on the board in their 20 overs, so I think probably less blame on the Kent bowlers at that point. But yeah, great pair of hands in the field as well. He's one of their gun fielders. Makes tough catches look difficult, look hard, look easy.
Bowls, Ward drives, it going to be caught. No, he's not. It's just out of the reach of the fielder at mid-off, who was Nathan Gilchrist, but that wasn't a million miles away from. I thought for a moment he was going to fling himself at that, but it went wide of his right hand and rattled away to the mid-off boundary. 4 ball to Ward, he goes. It wasn't that far away, was it?
No, he's a tall man, Nathan Gilchrist. Not many of the other Kent lads would have got close to that, but as you're right, he was off his feet, wasn't he, putting a hand up, but I think he realised it had gone past. It was hit with such power as well.
Change the field. The third man has come up inside the circle. We've now got a deep backward point of Kent as in comes Rogers again. Over the wicket, bowls to Ward with a swing and a miss. And again, there is no run. So 11 deliveries gone. Sussex 11 without loss. On a glorious evening here at Hove, there's a little bit of cotton wool cloud over the downs at the far end of the ground. But good to see lots of people out on their balconies getting a free watch of the cricket as well. And it really is, you can hear a lovely hubbub around the ground as well.
Yeah, super ground this one. You feel right on top of the action wherever you are, don't you? It's and even in the flats on the right hand side, I expect they do. Nice and compact.
Rogers in bowls. Ward is hit on the pad, he's given out, he's LBW, and a wicket for Tom Rogers. And Harrison Ward has had an indifferent campaign in this T20, a 6 and a 4. But now he's LBW to Rogers, who picks up a wicket in his first over, the second over for Kent. And the Sharks at the end of the second over are 11 for 1, and I have to say that looked very out.
Yeah, the movement in the air, the replay showing that perfectly, the curve in the air in towards his toes. It was a great length as well, wasn't it? More or less Yorker length. And yeah, absolutely no chance for Harrison Ward to get himself out of the way of that one. So good bowling from Rogers this first over. Just saying, first or second ball up, he had one which nearly took the off stump. So decent bowling there. Looks like it's going to be a good contest, this one. So Ward has gone LBW to Rogers, and Sussex 11 for 1.
I just wondered, Matt, you know, obviously Kent got a bit of a spanking down at Cardiff, but it's all about how sides react, and I can't imagine Matt and Hollyoak would have been desperately pleased with that performance. And you know, Kent have come here tonight to try and prove a point, I guess.
No, absolutely. Sam Billings afterwards. I'll go back to that because Claessen's now bowling. Oh, it's just gone past the man at point. Joe Denley throwing himself at that one. It's been carved away. The ball from Fred Claessen. Denley got aerial. We've seen him take some incredible catches over the year. It's a little bit wide from Claessen, actually. Again, that's a real tester. I don't think we'll necessarily call that a chance for Denley, but it was in the air and shooting past him. But, I should say Sussex doing what Kent didn't do on Sunday, according to Sam Billings. He said they were very timid batting. Sussex certainly not. Going for their shots straight away here. Driven as far as Daniel Bell-Drummond inside the circle. Dot ball. This is Dan Hughes, by the way. Tom Clark at the other end. Kent stuff a slip in, Jack leaning, and the boundary fielders, it's like Tawanda Mieye is, deep backwards square. Sorry, Tawanda Mieye is on the offside at point, and this was just worked off the hip, so I think it'll be it'll be a leg by. It's Harry Finch, I think. Former Sussex man, of course. Sussex fans know all about him and sort of rebuilt his career at Kent.
Yes, he has, and I'm really pleased actually, because he's he's a good lad, Harry. I got to know him quite well when he was here at Hove. His career started well, it just didn't quite happen, and he always felt he was under pressure for his place in the side. So I'm really pleased to see he's gone elsewhere and has done well.
Claessen then bowling to Hughes, goes for a short handle. It's really well taken by Sam Billings. Umpire at this end was ready to signal a leg by, I think, there, but it's Clark, sorry, because they'd taken a leg by the ball before. 3 left-handers to start, in fact, isn't it, for Sussex?
A lot of left-handers, in fact, in the top 6.
Right.
Matt, there'll just be 1 right-hander.
Gotcha. It might be another reason why Matt Parkinson is out of the side. They like his leg spin against the right-handers. This one's just dabbed into the offside. A shot by Clark. They'll take a single to Joe Denley at points. But yeah, Harry Finch came to Kent's rescue in COVID times when Kent Kent were COVID hit,
Yes.
and was an important part of that side. I think he beat his old side here as well, one of his first games, and part of that 2021 squad as well that won the T20 Blast, helping them out, but then became a fully contracted player. This one is timed a little bit by Dan Hughes. It's Daniel Hughes up towards Nathan Gilchrist, end of the over. Good recovery actually by Fred Clarkson, 4 off the first ball, but otherwise I think it's just the is it the 6 off it, including the leg bye?
Yes, it was, absolutely. Actually, just looking at Harrison Ward, he's made 140 runs in the competition before tonight, so averaging 15. I think he'll be a little disappointed with that, and that included, he made a 50, I think it was against Glamorgan down in Cardiff, so he's been a little short of runs. So he got a fantastic catch at the weekend here, but that's what he's missed out tonight. He's gone for 10. And in comes Rogers running in from the Cromwell Road end and bowls and clipped away nicely. That's a lovely looking shot and a very, very fine piece of fielding. That's excellent cricket all round. It was a nice shot by Tom Clark and an excellent piece of fielding away to our right hand side. Joey Everson down here. That was very good indeed, because that looked like it was set for a boundary.
Yeah, I agree. It looked like he was gone. He actually had to make a two-handed stop diving to his right at the end, didn't he? And
that was very good.
Yeah.
Good cricketer, Everson. I remember him playing here for Nottinghamshire and getting a very good 100 in the Championship, and he's a good acquisition, I would think, for Kent.
It's in his early 20s, but yeah, very good indeed.
Rogers in bowls to Clark, who punches his the offside. Think about a single. Need to get a bit of a giddy on here. They do get through for a single. There's a bit of sort of yes and knowing. In the end, they went through for the single. And so let's go for 20 for 1 in the 4th over. Here on BBC Radio Kent, DAB, Adrian Harms, Matt Cole, in the lovely evening sunshine at Hove. It's not too hot today either, Matt, is it? It's just a lovely if you're in the sun it's warm, but it's just a lovely temperature. And actually those stands at the far end are pretty full tonight. That's as full as I've seen them all season, so a good attendance. In comes Rogers, bowls, and Hughes works that to backward point. Again, there is no run. I think Sam Billings will be very pleased with the way his bowlers have bowled in this opening 3.5 overs for Kent.
So we're looking at the stand which has been there for some years as far as I'm aware, which is probably 7-8 rows deep, as we look at it from the C end to the left, going all the way along one half of the far end.
Yes.
Then there's 10-12 rows deep, another stand to the right of the sight screens, and then a more vertiginous one, I'd have to say, to the right of that, which is, I don't know, 15 deep.
Yes.
And really tall stand to the right.
Rogers in bowls, down the wicket comes Hughes and plays a bit of a mow across the line. A slight air of frustration there from Daniel Hughes, dancing down the wicket, pulled the ball across the line to mid-wicket, and there is no run. So Hughes on 5 off 7. The Sharks 20 for 1 in the 4th over. 2 balls remaining of this 4th over. I say at this stage, it's very early stages, isn't it, that Kent will be pleased with the way that the power play has gone so far. Billings is always changing the field around. It's quite difficult to keep track of. They've now got 5 men saving 1 on the offside and 2 on the leg. As in comes Thomas Bowles, and Hughes looked to pull that on the leg side. The ball didn't get up. Well, it got up, but he didn't time it. And interesting, because I just wonder if this pitch is difficult to time the ball on.
Yeah, I wonder I think Rogers may have taken a little bit of pace off the ball, which maybe Hughes is through the shot early, but you're right, not able to time it. We've seen a couple of examples of it being timed beautifully, not least from Harrison Ward on the 6th ball of this contest. But you're absolutely right. Okay, the physio's coming on. So did it come off a top edge, maybe onto the batting helmet? They have to check.
Yes, they do.
Do the concussion checks.
Yes, I didn't spot that. I don't know if we're going to see a replay.
Well, I think Dan Hughes might be saying it's come off his shoulder. So, but they have to. The umpires will call it. And
did he hit flush on the head?
Maybe so. So I think he mined to his shoulder, so maybe it's come off shoulder and head, which has taken the speed off it. I mean, I have to say he looks absolutely fine.
Yes, he does.
But we also have to say, I'm jolly glad they do that these days, frankly, just to make sure everything's fine. So just a little bit of a gap here. I could run through the Kent side while we're doing that, actually, and I'm sure Adrian will do the same for Sussex. So Kent with Tawanda Mieye, Daniel Bell-Drummond, Joe Denley, Sam Billings, Jack Leaning, Harry Finch, Tom Rogers, Joey Everson, Chris Benjamin, Nathan Gilchrist and Fred Class, and that's the one on the card. I wouldn't imagine that Chris Benjamin will bat at 9 as a specialist batter, but there we go. That's the 11 for Kent this evening. Benjamin coming in for Matt Parkinson.
As in comes Rogers, racing in down the hill, comes in and bowls to Daniel Hughes, who clips this backward square on the leg side and picks up a single as Yei comes in from the backward square leg boundary infields, and that's a very tidy over by Tom Rogers. It's a good start here by Kent. The Sharks are 21 for 1 at the end of the 4th over. Unhelpfully, the players' scores have just gone off the score. Oh yeah, Clark's on 4, Hughes is on 6. And the pictures we're getting here in the commentary box is showing the ground here, which is not say full to the rafters, but not far off.
People still coming in as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Into the ground now. So yeah, 1 for 9 off his 2 overs so far, Tom Rogers. That's a great start from a Kent point of view. 9 for 11 for Klassen off his 2. Gilchrist comes next. His 3-wicket haul in their game against Sussex was actually his best T20 bowling of his career so far in the defeat by Sussex. So we right arm around the wicket, the left-handed Daniel Hughes makes room for himself, and that's a lovely shot. Just lifts it over the infield, off the back foot, over the man at extra cover to Wandamieye. Absolutely no chance whatsoever. He's almost just placed that.
Yeah, clever shot, wasn't it? I think he knew there was no one out on that offside boundary, and he was able to sort of loft the ball away. Beautiful timing by Daniel Hughes.
The sort of thing, I have to say, that some cricketers make look ridiculously easy, especially off the back foot, timing it that well, but all timing. 4 runs, Gilchrist then, and that's better, got close from a Kent point of view. Good reply from him actually, got very close, ball just back of a length, as you were saying, Adrian, really good pace and carry on this pitch. It's really come in at the left-hander. I think he's tried the same shot without backing away. He's again tried to just carve it over the infield, but got a bit close to him this time, through to wicketkeeper Sam Billings, who, as Adrian was saying, is in a constant state of traffic management, air traffic control almost. I'm sure you can make some sort of messages out of the semaphore from the gloves waving. Again makes room, Hughes, and cuts this fine, and that'll be 4, 1 bounce. And Nathan Gilchrist turns to Sam Billings, just opens his palms and says...
Yes, I think Billings got that wrong.
What would you like me to do?
Yeah, I think Gilchrist was after a 3rd man, actually.
Yeah, maybe so. And instead, the fielder went out to the square leg boundary, and they pushed one out at square leg. And he's bowled it well into the body as well there, Gilchrist, but it's just a good shot from Hughes. Again, he's backed away. He's got very close to him, but this time he's just cut that one away. And, well, he's not getting that fielder at 3rd, that's for sure. That's a lovely delivery again. It's over the top of middle stump. So, well, it's 4.4. And it's a good ball. I think it might even gone between bat and body there.
I think Billings was actually saying to Gilchrist then, now do you want the 3rd man? And Gilchrist has said no, so this would be interesting to see who's right, bowler or skipper.
Well, the way this over's been going, this should be 4. 4.4, and that's a swing and a miss, and that's good bowling again actually by Gilchrist, because he's banged it in a little bit short. Hughes is again trying to get himself out of leg side, and Gilchrist has gambled on following him. It's come wide of leg stump, but Daniel Hughes is well wide of leg stump as well. So fascinating cat and mouse here. So what does the batter do now? Does he feint to go outside the leg stump, hold his ground, let it go down the leg side, or help it on its way? Does Gilchrist change it up? He bowls now, again short of a length, and that is whipped away. Oh, gosh! I think that's Harry Finch at deep square. He's plucked that out of the air. It was a really good contact by Hughes, but it's a running catch by the former Sussex man. Harry Finch takes the high fives from his team, and it's a little bit of shade in the far side of the ground. He almost emerged from nowhere, it looked like, but ran around the boundary. Actually, good stretch.
That's a good catch.
Yeah, as Sussex fans will know, really good pair of hands, Harry Finch. A good run. No celebration from him. I'm not sure he's doing the football thing, refusing to celebrate against his old club, but all made it look very procedural, which I'm sure it wasn't. 29 for 2, so 8 off the over from Nathan Gilchrist. Fascinating over with 2 boundaries off it with a wicket, and Daniel Hughes goes.
And I have to say, that's a big wicket. Daniel Hughes is absolutely key to Sussex in T20 cricket. and he's a big miss. Now the only right-hander in the top 6 is coming in now, who is James Coles. But Kent have had a very good power play here, Matt.
Yeah.
They'd have settled for this.
You're absolutely right. Started really well here. So 29 for 2 they are off 5 overs here on BBC Sussex, BBC Radio Kent on DAB, and online via the BBC Sport website and app. Welcome wherever you are picking us up. And as I said, Kent have only 4 frontline bowlers here. They're going to have to work some overs from their part-time spinners, Jack Leaning, Tawanda Mayeye and Joe Denley. I mentioned Joe Denley last because he's about to bowl on the Cromwell Road end. Leg spin this will be.
Last over of the power play comes in and bowls to Clark, who drives firmly through the offside, and is that going to go for 4 runs? It is. Nice shot by Tom Clark. Drifting away from the left hander now. Sam Billings wants another change in the field. He's sending his long on back. But that's not where that one went. He's got 2 men on the leg side. As for the off spin of Denley. He's coming around the wicket now. He's going to try and angle this one in and bowl to that leg side field as in comes Denley bowls. Clark hammers that one away. That's 4 more. That one will go away for 6. No, it's gone for 4. So just dances down the wicket, Tom Clark. 2 proper cricket shots. You can play proper cricket shots in T20 cricket. And a nice shot by Clark, just lofting the ball over mid-off, and it goes away for 4 runs. Nicely played.
Yeah, really nice. Played well within himself, as it were.
Yes.
Not taking any risks there.
And again, and this time he gets a big thick inside edge. Well bowled by Denley, ends up at backward point, footed there by Daniel Bell-Drummond. And there is no run. Is this Chris Benjamin down in front of us? Number 12?
It is indeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
In comes Denley bowls, and Clark plays that down the on-side of the pitch down to mid-on. Kent happy to let Clark go through for a single. So 9 off the over. Clark goes to 13. And Sussex to 38 for 2 in this, the final over of the power play. It brings the right-handed James Coles onto strike.
Yeah, again movement in the field. You'll be unsurprised to hear Jack Leaning being moved back a little bit at cover.
In comes Denley bowls, and Coles just defends. Better that from Joe Denley, who's recovered from those 2 4s. You never know, sometimes an over can go around the ground, but he'll be pleased to have bowled 3 deliveries and just conceded the 1 run. Sussex, conversely, will be looking for a boundary off the last ball of the power play.
Be a big ball, a big delivery this last one.
Denley in bowls, and Coles plays that firmly to extra cover. There is no run, end of the over, and I think that probably 9 off the final over of the power play. Kent won't be overly disappointed with that, and I think you'd have to say on balance, who's won the power play? I think Kent have had the better power play. 38 for 2 at the end of the 6th.
I think you're right. Certainly, we've seen some movement in the air and off the pitch as well. And it's a good bounce and carry as well. So this looks like a good cricket wicket to me, I have to say, for a game of T20. Good value for your shots if you middle it, that's for sure, here at Hove. But yeah, I think of the 2 sides, Kent, especially having lost the toss and bowling first, will be pleased with this. It will be Joey Evison, former Nottinghamshire man, who punished his old side by winning at Trent Bridge when Kent won the one-day cup back in 2022. He hit the winning runs. Took the winning wicket, as it were, but got himself 90 odd as well. Round the wicket now, and this one's a punch up towards long on. It's fielded by Tom Rogers, and they'll take a single. So James Coles come on strike, and are using his spin quite a lot in a power play. Is that right, Coles, this year?
Yes, he does. I mean, quite often he opens the bowling with James Coles.
Yeah.
They seem to change it around a bit, and he's a very fine young cricketer. He got selected in the 100 last year, played at the Southern Brave, and has certainly done very well in the Championship this year with back-to-back hundreds in the last 2 games. He's a very fine prospect.
Top run scorer for the Sharks this summer in the Blast as well. Yeah. Gets 4, but straight back to Evison on his follow-through. Jack Leaning is warming up the bowling arm as well. We may see him before very long. Now we're outside the power play, and 5 fielders allowed outside there, and going through some thigh stretches as well. As I said, it looks like they've got 3 part-time spinners. It'll be 4 overs from them. This one's glanced down the leg side. It may just have come off the pads, actually, if the bowling is at Everson. No, the umpire says it's a inside edge or a glance onto the pads from Coles, and he gets his first run. So again, it's a good start to an over for Kent, but we know the first three balls can often mean absolutely nothing. And certainly if Tom Clark starts to make hay here, and he flicks that away into the onside. It's a stop by Harry Finch. Again, it's just almost wristy, that, isn't it, the onside? No great backlift. Off a good length delivery from Evison, but fielded by Finch, they'll take a single.
Harry Finch keeps wicket in the Championship.
He does. He's reinvented himself as a wicket keeper and kept all last season. He's very good with the gloves. He doesn't look like a man that's not kept the rest of his... Oh, it's floated in. That may be above waist high. Will the umpires be checking that? There's a single. It's floated in. I think it's out the back of the hand.
Yes, it was a slower one, wasn't it?
Full toss.
The umpires...
No, it's not over waist high.
No.
Sorry, our perspective here isn't...
Well, he just about got away with that. I think it wasn't far away, Matt.
Definitely a full toss, and actually, so often a delivery like that can take the batters by surprise. You think they should be carting it off for a six, but I think James Coles was surprised by that for Everson. So 4 off the over so far, ball to come, and it's whipped away again into the onside, and it's this time the diving fielder won't get there. I think that's maybe Nathan Gilchrist diving for that one, but whoever it is, they won't get there at square leg. Yeah, wristy flick away by Tom Clark. That will be 4 runs, and that'll end the over, and 8 off it in total. Not bad from Joey Everson, but that last 4, I would say the Sharks will be very pleased with. 46 for 2.
Yeah, just an important boundary, I think, for Sussex. There had been a decent over from Everson before then, and the first over since the power play. Sussex still with plenty of wickets left in the bank, but they'll need to pick up the boundaries. Sam Billings is so animated behind the stumps, the way he's sort of shoveling it. There he goes again. In comes Denley, driven through the offside. That's a lovely shot by James Coles. That's going to be 4 runs. It wasn't far away from that man at extra cover, but a beautiful shot by Coles. Extra cover drive, got his foot to the pitch of the ball, and that was beautifully played.
Yeah, looked like it was close to Klaassen, but he barely had time to move, did he? It was hit so hard and so fast. And 4 runs all the way, straight off the bat.
50 up for Sussex in this, the 8th over. Denley again bowls. Coles drives down the ground. This time we'll get a single to the fielder way down at long off in front of, I think what we can safely say, are packed stands here at Hove tonight. There are not too many seats, particularly in, as Matt was describing, a big tall stand. They're all temporary stands here at Hove.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, they're only here for the T20.
Sure.
But certainly they're, I'd say 7/8 full tonight, if not slightly more.
Got the big stand to our left as well, the permanent stand, which is...
yes, well filled as well, isn't it, for the members. And
Joe Denny there just aborting his run up as he came in there. I don't know if he...
yes,
it may well have been Sam Billings was doing some more field tweaking.
Fiddling around with his field. In comes Denley again. Bowls. Cut by Clark only as far as backward point. Good sharp bit of fielding there by Evison. Prevents a single.
I do say with Sam Billings, if you watch any cricket during the Big Bash or the International League or whatever, you'll know his voice from the stump cams very, very well indeed, because he is constant motion.
Denley in bowls. Clark cuts away firmly through the offside. They've taken 1. They'll think about coming back for the second, and they do come back for the second. Comfortable 2. Fielded in the shade out there. Is that Harry Finch out there?
It is, yes, yeah.
Gets in the throw.
Front of the pavilion there.
2 more to Clark, who goes to 21. Sussex to 53 for 2. Denley again bowls. Clark heaves that away onto the leg side, but straight to the fielder at deep mid wicket. 1 more to Clark. He goes to 22. And Sussex to 54 for 2 with 1 ball remaining of the 8th over.
A lot of field changing certainly for Joe Denley, I suppose, when the left and right here, isn't it? They want to make sure their boundary fielders are just in the right places.
Denley again bowls. Coles hammers that away. Is he going to be caught down at long on? No, he's gone all the way for 6 runs. That's a big blow by James Coles. There's a fielder out there at long on, but it was a good way away from him, and it sailed away towards the dugouts there for 6 runs. And Denley's annoyed with himself. That's a 4 and a 6 off the last 2 balls of the last 2 overs, which have just helped Sussex to get on their way. They're 60 for 2 at the end of the 8th. Coles on 13. Clark on 22, and this partnership now worth 31 between these two.
Yeah, 14, as you say, off that over from Joe Denley. Seamers have started pretty well so far. The front line bowlers. None for 8 for Joey Evison as he comes round the wicket now to Clark. Again, works that behind square on the onside. And he'll take a single out of the man at square leg. And it's almost like tidal between these between the left and right batters is that all the fielders on one side will go out and the others will come in as this one's nudged up towards Jack leaning at long on. I don't think they'll he's misfielded. They will take a second. I was going to say how smart Jack Leaning is in the field, so I've commentated cursed him without even actually saying it. But yeah, that was a poor bit of fielding from Jack Leaning. Don't know if he's taken his eye off there, but they come through for a comfortable 2 in the end.
No excuse, because the outfield is like a carpet here.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's not coming off the square. That's Everson to Coles. He's just on the front foot and can't beat Daniel Bell-Drummond at extra cover. No great aggression to that shot either. Decent ball for Everson.
I thought the outfield was excellent at Canterbury the other night as well. Compared to some of the grounds I've been to this season, I mean, this outfield is magnificent.
Yeah,
it really is. As was Canterbury the other night. Very good indeed.
It's nicely prepared, and this one's a attempted pull by Coles, but he can't really time it. It's high up on the bat. Decent bowling from Everson. Coles just not really at his fluent best at the moment. 64 for 2.
Yes, it does make you wonder, does it 1 or 2 shots you think, is the ball perhaps coming on as perhaps they would have hoped?
Maybe he's a little bit too paced. It's possible, isn't it, this pitch? But around the wicket comes Everson. I think he's taken a bit of pace off there. So into the onside, and Clark thinks about a second, but there's never 2 there to Finch rushing in from the onside boundary. The left-hander.
Yeah, for the 3rd over in a row, you feel that Sussex need a boundary off the last ball of the over here. They've got a 4 and a 6 off the last 2.
Yeah, it's just 5 off the over so far from Joey Everson. 65 for 2. A ball shy of the 9th over. As Everson bowls it to Cole. Straight back towards the bowler. He puts a hand up but can't get anything on it. Jack Leaning will field it and throws it like a scrum half.
Very good.
To Fred Clarkson. But they come back for 2 there. They do at the end of the over. So yeah, just looking back, was it a chance for Everson? No. There's no way. He can barely even get his hand up quick enough to get it near it. But good piece of fielding. 2 to finish the over. Not bad for Kent, I think. 9 off it at 69 for 2. But as you say, if the players are just having a little bit of trouble timing their shots here. Sorry, 67 for 2, I should say.
Just have a look at the other games in the South Group, which are, all these games have got a bearing on who's going to qualify. Hampshire 119 for 4, needing 69 in 7.2 overs to beat Middlesex, and down at Gloucester, Surrey 66 for 2 off 8 overs. So we'll keep an eye on those matches throughout the evening. Coming in around the wicket is that Nathan Gilchrist? It is. Is that a misfield? And I think the fielder's hurt himself.
Oh dear.
That's
dear,
nasty.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Who is that? Now there was an ironic cheer from the crowd, but that doesn't look good.
Is that Clarkson out there?
And he went down. Let's just see what happened here. I think he might have caught his shoulder there, I think he tripped and fell awkwardly.
Me. It's Tom Rogers, yeah.
Or is he? Or if he's popped a finger or something?
He's going off with the physio, Dan George there. I said Kent have had pretty poor luck. They lost Wes Agar last season, early doors to a shoulder injury in the field. They lost Chris Benjamin, obviously, at the beginning of this series in the T20 Blast. Keith Dudgeon after 1 game with a knee injury, and
he's going up the steps. I mean, he's trotting up the steps. I wonder whether he's popped a finger or something. We should
maybe
see.
He has, yeah.
As Clark turns the next delivery from Gilchrist down to deep mid-wicket, picks up a single, does Clark. So there was some ironic cheers as the ball went past Tom Rogers, but they stopped. I don't think the crowd, in all fairness, had realised that he'd injured himself. 72 for 2.
I mean, most immediately for Kent. They want him back on the field to bowl, because he's part of this bowling lineup, as I said, which is, well, put it this way, Kent have bolstered their lineup with an extra batter, you would say. To be fair to Joey Everson, he's not been in great form with the bat, actually. He's bowled really well in the Blast, but not seen the best of him, so they may have thought, put Benjamin in for some extra Firepower.
To Christian Bowles, to Coles, who lofts it on the onside. Is he going to be caught, or is he going to go for 6? Oh, bad luck. Well, it was a diving attempt on the boundary edge. He just palmed the ball, but could only palm the ball over the boundary, and it's a 6 from James Coles. Super shot from Coles. Total goes to 78 for 2, but it just about carried over the boundary.
Yeah, class, and as you say, he was always leaning towards the boundary as he jumped, wasn't he? And
yes.
Yeah,
Trying to palm it back. But a better over for Sussex, 11 off the over so far, and these two within one of their half-century partnership between Coles and Clark. Gilchrist in again, Bowles, and goes Coles, loses his leg stump, looking to repeat the shot, looking to clip the ball away through the leg side. His leg stump, in fact 2 stumps are out of the ground, and that's a good response by Nathan Gilchrist, and Sussex lose their 3rd wicket on 78 for 3, and a partnership of 49 between Clark and Coles comes to an end.
Yeah, spectacular stuff. Leg and middle have gone, I mean, absolutely flattened, so it's a spectacular sight for Nathan Gilchrist. You're right, just trying that shot again, just making room, and Gilchrist has stuck to his guns, isn't he? Stuck on the stumps. You miss, I hit, and it's made an awful mess of the furniture.
Now this is a slight change in the Sussex batting order, but I'm not surprised. Tom Alsop, who's so important for Sussex in the middle, they've been sort of juggling the order around a bit. John Simpson has batted in different places around the order. He has batted at 3, he's been batting at 5, but tonight Tom Alsop has come in at number 5, and I think he's very much Sussex's sort of middle order hitman. He suddenly gets the scoreboard moving. Missed the game at the weekend against Hampshire with a reoccurrence of a calf problem. He did play down at Canterbury on Friday night when he seemed to aggravate that injury. But this is an important innings for Sussex. 78 for 3. And it's going to be Gilchrist who's going to come in from the Cromwell Road end. 2 balls remaining of the 10th over. He's in over the wicket, Bowles. And Alsop, is he going to be caught? He is caught. He's out first ball. Tom Alsop goes. I think that rather caught in the pitch, to be honest. It was a leading edge. It's spooned to mid-off. And Alsop, on his return to the side, goes first ball. And all of a sudden, Kent are in the ascendancy. 78 for 4 and back-to-back wickets for Nathan Gilchrist. Good catch at mid-off by...
I think it's a sub-fielder who's come on there, actually. I'm struggling to identify them, but yeah, but good catch at the end, absolutely. Nicely done. And yeah, so another wicket. So worries for Kent about Tom Rogers, but a 2nd wicket in the over for Nathan Gilchrist, and hat-trick ball coming up.
Well, I think, Matt, you should take this hat-trick ball, because you never know. Hat-tricks don't come around too often. But isn't it strange how these games of cricket change? Yeah. You know, Sussex, James Coles, it's a super shot for 6. Do you think all Sussex are on the... And I think I said, well, this is better for Sussex. 11 off the over so far. Then all of a sudden, bang, bang, 78 for 2 becomes 78 for 4.
Indeed so. And so it'll be John Simpson to face Nathan Gilchrist. Hat-trick ball, 3 for 19 he has so far. Proving himself to be a strike bowler here. It's Ben Dawkins, who's, of course it is, he's the in the squad tonight. Young wicketkeeper batter, much thought of him. Actually very decent take as well. Took a bit of effort. Hat-trick ball then. Nathan Gilchrist bowling to John Simpson, straight back at him. Oh goodness me, it's just carried him. Was it a bump ball?
I think it was a bump ball.
There we go.
Yes.
He got up to it so quickly, I thought maybe he thought it was a catch, but there we go. It's in the air. As he hit that into the ground. I'm not sure he has, you know. I think that's come straight back at Gilchrist. That was the excitement. And Nathan Gilchrist just couldn't reach it. No, I think that's a false shot, absolutely. And Gilchrist just got his fingertips to it, John Barston. You're absolutely right, he's pogoing behind the stumps there, Sam Billings. They come through a single, but fantastic for Kent, isn't it? Getting rid of Coles and also with consecutive balls. And Gilchrist then one off the final ball of the 10th, 79 for 4.
So halfway, and I think Kent will be the happier of the two sides at the moment. As leading comes in from the C end of the ground to bowl to the left-handed John Simpson. Simpson turns that through mid-wicket and picks up his 2nd run. Sussex go to 80 for 4 here on BBC Radio Kent DAB. Adrian Harms, Matt Cole, your commentary team here on a glorious evening here at Hove with a really big crowd in as well.
Yeah, so leading from the other C end round the wicket then, and just Clark not able to get a good contact on that one off the off spinner, so spinning the ball away from him naturally. Jack leading his first over of the piece here, and oh Christ, there is a drag down, and that's been treated. Will that go for 6 though? Oh no, it's going to be caught by Harry Finch. Goodness me. And Clark, just a shout of frustration, because that was a real drag down the leg side by Jack Leaning. It was a poor ball, but Clark hasn't carried the boundary. It's up in the air. Finch gets underneath it, and suddenly Sussex have lost 3 wickets, I think, for just a single run now. 2 of them the previous over, and now Jack Leaning picks it up. It's 3 for 2 in the space of 5 balls. And this has really turned this innings around now for Sussex. Kent on top.
That's a poor shot, isn't it? Really. I mean, you described it beautifully, Matt. It's a drag down. It's a ball that really should have been hit for 6, but he's been caught on the boundary. And well, this game has just turned on its head. 78 for 2 has become 80 for 5.
Yeah, absolutely. It's. I mean, it's absolutely can and does happen in T20. This game just fools us so often. Leaning and bowling to Danny Lamb is a new batter, straight back at the bowler, who stops it with the instep.
Well, Danny Lamb has been in good form in this competition. He took 5 for 15 with the ball down at Canterbury the other night, and made 49 at the Oval a couple of weeks ago. But Sussex really into the middle order here now.
Yeah. Lamb, didn't know much about that.
No,
I think that's come off the inside edge, off the bowling of Jack Leaning, and into the onside. There's a single taken.
So much depending here on these two and Nathan McAndrew, the big Australian who's next to Carmo, who does hit a long ball. But there's still a lot of overs to use up here for Sussex.
81 for 5, and a ball to go of this first over from Jack Leaning. Big appeal. It's a case of just one man shouting, I think.
Yes.
He's the only one appealing. It was a theatrical appeal from Jack Leaning, who takes his cap with a smile. He loved it.
He did love it. No, he really did love
did
it.
he think it was did he think it was an inside edge?
Possibly.
Because it's definitely not hitting. It's not in front of the stumps, but it's close enough down the leg side to the thigh pad. The umpire has said perhaps it has just clipped the thigh pad as it's gone through, and he's heard a noise. He was the only one in the ground, though, I think, to be fair. It's a dot ball. 81 for 5 at the end of the 11th. That over has gone for just 3.
Yeah. So, in comes... who is this place? It's
so it's Joe Denley, yes.
Joe Denley back into the attack. But the scoreboard had the wrong name up.
I don't think we've seen Tom Rogers come back on the field for Kent.
No, I haven't seen him come back.
Dawkins still there. So they may have to manage without him. That's 2 overs they need to find for somewhere. So the spinners may be on for longer.
They're doing a decent job at the moment. Yeah. Denley in bowls to Simpson, who clips this away through mid-wicket. Sussex need to rebuild here because there's still plenty of overs to go, and you've got 2 experienced campaigners in Lamb and Simpson out there, but can't really afford to take too many chances for the next 4 or 5 overs, Matt.
No, that's a good point. As you say, they just need to use up some balls here.
Denley in, bowls to Lamb, who plays a short extra cover. There is no run.
Just trying to play themselves in, I think. Yeah, Ben Dawkins is still on the ground. The Kent teenager at long on at the moment.
Denley bowls, Lamb forward, plays it down the offside of the track again. There is no run. Well, we thought this would be a good pitch. I wonder if it's not quite, until both sides are batting, of course, you never really know. Maybe it's not quite as straightforward as it was certainly on Saturday night. The runs were flowing with Hampshire making 195. Denley again, bowls to Lamb, straight back down the wicket. Denley can't quite field of his own bowling. He managed to divert the ball down towards long off. They think about coming back for a single. And then they settle on just 1 run. Lamb goes to 3, Sussex 84 for 5. I'm going to move around a little bit because the sun is shining right into our commentary box here.
It is. Well, very much enjoying the sun, but I think it's slightly harder to see.
Yeah. He Bowl. Simpson drives firmly all the way down to long off and picks up another single. So good tidy over from Joe Denley, just conceding the 4 runs. Sussex in a state of rebuilding here after 12 overs. They are 85 for 5, so 4 off of the over. Simpson is on 2, Lamb is on 3.
Absolutely, and great position for Kent, notwithstanding Tom Rogers has gone off the field, the Australian bowler, with what looked like a hand injury, I think, as Adrian said. Fell awkwardly trying to field the ball. Obviously, if that's a bowling hand, that may well be the end of the game for him, but Kent doing well. Leaning then, bowls to Simpson, just tucks that into the onside. It's fielded by Nathan Gilchrist, and they'll just take the one there. So Lamb and Simpson trying to rebuild after that shock of 2 in 2 balls from Nathan Gilchrist in 1 over, and then quickly second ball the following over. Clark, who was set, being caught on the boundary off the bowling of Jack Leaning, who will bowl now to Danny Lamb, goes for a sweep. Almost hits it into the ground first, so it takes quite a lot of momentum out of it. It's fielded by Tawanda Mieye, effectively on the leg side boundary. So just a single down. It's all gone a bit quiet.
It has.
And understandably so from a Sussex point of view. This pair probably need to do the bulk of the run scoring if Sussex are going to get a decent total on the board. Swept away for a single this time.
Well, I think these two have realised that they probably need to bat until at least the 15th, 16th over. You could let McAndrew, who can come in a very long ball, Nathan McAndrew. That's sort of I kind of think what Sussex have been thinking. They've got to put some sort of a score on the board first.
Yeah. As Leaning comes over the wickets, the right-hander. Lamb, it's a bit of push and run into the onside, and Mieye comes herring in on the leg side.
Joe, so far, I
Single.
don't think Kent have bowled an extra, have they? I can't think of a wide.
Oh, that's a very good point.
It's been a very disciplined bowling performance.
It's been 1 leg by. There we go. Yeah, that's it. This one's picked off middle stump by Simpson. It's a good tumbling stop by Joe Denley at point. No run. And a ball to come. So it's been 5 singles off this ball, this over from Jack Leaning. And he's got 1 for 7 so far. So does Lamb go long handle here? No, they're going to keep rebuilding. It's fielder herring after it, or rather bowler herring after it to try and field. They do get a single though, so it's 6 off the over. So the first one went for 2 and a wicket, and this one has gone for exactly 6 from Jack Leaning. 85 for 4 off 11. As he was saying, from a Sussex point of view, I mean, the run rate's not terrible, but they just can't afford to lose any more wickets, you'd think, at this point.
No, they can't. But the spinners have done a decent job here for Kent, and so they've had to change things around, because with Tom Rogers off the field, and he hasn't reappeared, was injured fielding at mid-off, seemed to take a bit of a tumble. Difficult to see exactly what the injury was, but we're not aware that he's reappeared on the field. However, Kent very much in the ascendancy. It's going to be Joe Evison who's going to come in from the Cromwell Road end of the ground to bowl to the right-handed Danny Lamb.
Yeah, so he's bowled 2 already. They may be thinking at this point, if Rogers doesn't come back, it'll be Clarkson and Gilchrist to bowl the death overs.
Evison bowls to Lamb, who works that through the offside, picks up a single fielded by Mieye, who comes in from the cover point boundary to field. Kent to be quite happy to let Sussex have the ones here.
Yeah, Tawanda Mieye, former Eastbourne College student.
Yes.
And was Wisden Schoolboy Cricket of the Year with his final year there.
And seems to be a young cricketer who's making a bit of a name for himself.
Yeah, he's got his first T20 100 this summer.
Well, it takes some doing.
Yeah.
Here comes Everson around the wicket, bowls, and Simpson cuts firmly. But there's a time, I wonder if this, as I say, you never know until both sides are batted on a pitch, but I just wonder if it's not quite as straightforward batting tonight as it seemed to be for Hampshire on Saturday. It's the same pitch. I mean, Hampshire made batting first, made 196 for 8. Sussex only made 134. But that was a very good pitch, and I thought we may see something similar tonight. Maybe it's not quite as straightforward In comes Evisons, bowls. 4 comes Lamb, plays it back down the track, and there is no run.
Yeah, he's just played that almost suspiciously. I'm not quite
Yes,
sure
he did.
what that hand signal meant to his partner, but
No.
certainly having a good chat out there, trying to work out what it's doing. And as you say, it doesn't look like a free scoring pitch, does it? And
Billings will know that, and he may well be thinking to himself, actually, we need to keep this below. In comes Evisons, bowls. Lamb down the wicket, drives hard but straight to extra cover. There is no run, fielded by the substitute fielder. Lamb looks at his bat. Yeah, Billings may be thinking to himself, actually, we don't want to be chasing much more than 150 here, that sort of thing. You never quite know. He's an experienced campaigner. Now, Billings is waving towards the dressing room for something or another. No, he's not.
oh,
No,
he's waving to Harry Finch.
Not quite there.
He's come in. He's gone back.
Yeah, you need to different.
He's done the hokey cokey, I think, as well. At that
He
point.
is. Evisons in again, bowls. Lamb drives out to extra cover. It's just a single again. Very good field again. Who's the substitute fielder?
Well, that's Joe Denley, but it's Ben Dawkins
Sorry.
who's fielding at.
Thank you. Sorry, I thought that was the
Tall,
substitute
slim
fielder there.
figure who's fielding at long.
Oh, right, okay,
off
I've got
at the
you.
moment. Number 8 on his shirt. But yeah, great prospect, Ben Dawkins. Another one off wicketkeeper batters. Kent seem to produce those.
Yes, they do.
England under 19 player. Took a good catch, I thought, as well. Still had plenty to do with that looped catch to get rid of Allsop.
Evisons again. Simpson drives and caresses that down the ground to long off. Picks up a single to Simpson. He goes to 9 off of 10 deliveries. A good tidy over by Joey Evisons. 95 for 5, just 4 off of the over. With Sussex looking to rebuild here, having at one stage been 78 for 2, then slumping to 80 for 5. And these two just trying to build and get Sussex some sort of a score.
Yeah, absolutely. So 6 to come, and it really hasn't been easy out there for them, as you say, having to rebuild after a couple of catastrophic overs as far as they were concerned. And it'll be Jack leaning to continue then into the 15th over, driven
What a stop.
straight at Dawkins, but you said it still took some stopping off a cut strip there as well. Managed to get everything behind it.
That could well have been a boundary. Sorry, Matt, if he hadn't
Yeah.
stopped that. There was no one really behind him.
No, I agree. And so Jack leaning, 1 for 9, or 1 for 8 he started. Oh, it's an under edge, great take from Sam Billings, who's just picked out of the air, near his left ear, and swung the glove back towards the stump. It hit straight into the ground. Wicketkeeper reacted so quickly, but Lamb was in his ground as well, and he drives that gently up to Joey Evisons at long on, and they'll take a single. So the question, as you say, Adrian, here is, these guys want to be together, or one of them probably needs to be there at the end of this 20, but when do they start to accelerate or try to accelerate? At the moment they're playing within themselves, farming singles out towards the offside. This one, Simpson finds Twannaby a couple of bounces towards the boundary and thrown back in. So 4 off the over, leaning over the wicket then to Lamb, who drives it up to long on. Evisons fields again for a single. But I guess it's the question for the two batters, what the team have been talking about in the dressing room, like this, what this pitch is doing.
Yes.
They're now trying to have to set themselves a target, I suppose, for a par score.
Yeah.
It's leaning round the wicket to Simpson. Little sweep, backward of square, but they don't look to me like they are going for their shots here. So I wonder if not only trying to rebuild, 100 up for 5 off the 15th over. I think this is well short of what Sussex would have expected when they won the toss and elected to bat first here on BBC Sussex and BBC Radio Kent. But some rebuilding is being done by Danny Lamb and John Simpson at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said before the game started that, you're looking at a score batting first here of somewhere between 180 and 200, generally speaking, but it could well be these two experienced campaigners and the Sussex camp have looked at the pitch and actually have maybe completely rethought how many they need. They may be thinking, well, actually a decent score here, maybe 140, 150. It's difficult to tell, but certainly the person who can come in, who could bash a, muscle a quick 30 or 40 would be Dathan McAndrew, who's next in. as in comes Evisons. Simpson plays the ball out to long off. A not very good throw comes into Sam Billings, but it doesn't matter, it's just a single. We're into the 16th of the 20 overs.
Yeah, none of the Kent bowlers so far have really taken much tap, have they? In fact, Gilchrist is the least economical, but he's taken 3 wickets.
Comes Evisons, bowls and pulled away. That's going to be the first boundary for some time to Danny Lamb. It was short and pulled away over wideish mid wicket for 4 runs. Good shot by Lamb. Not a great delivery by Evisons. It was pulled away, but that's the first boundary for some considerable period of time.
Yeah, the last one was hit by James Coles. It was a 6 in the 10th over just before he was out. So
Wow.
yeah, it's been a long old time.
So Lamb surveys that leg side field, and Evisons is in again. Bowls and Lamb drives firmly down the ground to long off, picks up a single. He goes to 11, the total to 105 for 5, 106 for 5. I'm sorry, Lamb is on 15. I was looking at the scoreboard before it had updated. It still feels Sussex are a bit undercooked here. Evisons round the wicket, bowls. Simpson lofts that one away. Is he going to be caught? It's gone high and he's caught at mid wicket. And John Simpson goes. Joe Evisons picks up the wicket. It's a good catch taken in front of the scoreboard. I think that might be Joe Denley who took the catch. He went up a long way. He was looking into the sun. That's not easy. And John Simpson goes. Another wicket goes down for Sussex. And it brings in big Nathan McAndrew, and I would say with McAndrew, who's twirling the bat around as he comes out to bat, he's very much the man, Nathan McAndrew, who could bash a quick 30 or 40, and in truth that's what Sussex need.
Yeah, this, as you say, this is not playing out at all as we'd expected. Again, falling just short of the boundary, that shot, and that's happened. Where are we? 3 times, 2 catches by Finch, 1 by Denley, just inside the boundary. You just feel that perhaps the ball isn't coming off the bat quite as well as they thought. And I would wager, as you were saying, Adrian, with what we'd heard about the pitch to start with, and Sussex electing to bat first, I'm not sure this looks like a bat first pitch at this point.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously credit to Kent for holding the catches and for bowling well, but yeah. It's tricky out there, but as you say, you never know until the other side bats. It may be this is a tricky old pitch. So
certainly, Sam Billings will know that. As in comes Evisons, bowls, and McAndrew drives firmly through the offside down to long off. They've taken 1. They'll think about 2, but there's never a second there. McAndrew quickly on his way with a single.
Again, they've got a great bowling attack, Sussex, haven't they?
They have,
going
and
to take advantage of any. If any team can take advantage of. A pitch that's a bit too paced, you'd imagine it would be them.
But I think Sussex are going to feel they're pretty undercooked here. Evisons in from the Cromwell Road end, bowls to Lamb, who plays that into mid-wicket. Now they've taken 1, they'll think about 2 here, but they're going to need to get a move on as the throw comes in, and if he hits the stumps that would have been close, but he just gets back, does Nathan McAndrew, his big long legs striding away to the far end. Now this looks like, is this Tom Rogers is coming back on? I thought I saw somebody come out, and someone's come out to pick up something. I think it was the 12th man.
Yeah, it's Matt Parkinson coming on actually. You know,
Right.
Ben Dawkins is still on the field,
Right.
which indicates that Rogers is still off. So that's bad news for Kent, who've had to say.
Yeah.
They must have broken every mirror in the dressing room at Canterbury, I think, and crossed the path of many black cats. If anyone's seen the film Spinal Tap, it's the same thing that happened to all their drummers. Anyway, Clarkson to return then, and we do have 4 overs left, don't we? So Kent actually, without Rogers, who they'd expect to bowl the death, but without his 2 overs, they have made up for it pretty well.
Yes,
haven't
they have.
106 for 6.
Yeah, they have.
They've got 2 from Clarkson now, 2 from Gilchrist, who will presumably bowl the death overs now, and it will be Clarkson then to McAndrew, who good looking drive into the offside, but it will find Finch along the ground. It'll be a single through to extra cover as the shadows stretch across from the pavilion side. I really like that pavilion, I have to say, and the stand beside it, Adrian.
Yeah.
I think it looks I don't know. It looks historic. It feels, not in a bad way at all. It just looks.
Well, and actually, the same with I love going to the old grounds, the Canterbury's, and it's just feel like proper cricket grounds.
The architecture is. It's a bit of a top edge there by Lamb. I don't think he quite knows where it's gone. It's gone behind square, down to fine leg, and they'll take a single.
Well, Nathan McAndrew, with those big long arms, he's a big, tall, strong man. He's looking towards that leg side. And I'm sure Sam Billings, he'll know him from playing in the Big Bash. He'll know exactly where Nathan McAndrew likes to thump the ball.
Oh, it's hit Danny Lamb, is it?
Oh.
It may have hit him off the top edge, I guess. But yeah, it was a strange sort of contact, wasn't it? It's definitely a top edge, but maybe it's run off the batting helmet. Yeah, so they're checking. Firstly, they're checking Danny Lamb's okay. I think actually it's mostly about the integrity of the helmet, isn't it? They've got to make sure there are no cracks in it, that it's going to protect him. He's having a nice drink out there. It's a hot evening, a warm evening, I should say.
I'm just glad to see Danny Lamb in the last game of the T20 Blast last year in the group stages. Sussex played Middlesex, and Danny Lamb got the most awful shoulder injury. He dived, took it. I spoke to him down at Canterbury about it actually last week, and he got a brilliant catch. Then I said he put one down. He said, yeah, it was an absolute dolly. I should have caught it. But it was an awful injury, and he didn't play again the rest of the season. And so it's just really good to, he's a very quietly spoken man. He's a nice man, Danny Lamb, and it's just good to see him back in the side. But Sussex, and he did bowl well at Canterbury. This pitch might suit him if it isn't quite coming onto the bat. But I just wonder whether Sussex have got anything like enough runs to play with, really, Matt.
The difficulty for them at this point is putting a total on the board that will put pressure on Kent, or whether Kent will think, well, we can make this in ones and twos perhaps without having to swing for the boundaries. Nathan McAndrew does. It goes well up into the air. Evisons underneath it and drops it over the boundary as well. I'm not sure if he was already over the boundary when he got hands to it, but it was steepling, a swat down the ground from Nathan McAndrew. We're about to see the replay.
I think he might. I wonder if he was put up by the other fielder running towards him.
He might have been, yeah, because Leaning was coming toward him and he's running. No, there we go. I think if he'd taken it, he would have been very close when he came down to the rope, but he didn't. It was 6, and there we go. McAndrew is swinging for the fences now. Joey Everson gets the benefit of that big crowd behind him, and he makes a small misfield.
And poor Joey Everson.
And they love it.
All good-natured, of course, but well, Nathan McAndrew does give the ball a thump, and he's Sussex's hope here. They've still got 3 overs to go. If he could muscle a quick 20 or 30.
It was really flat batted from him. I mean, I don't say that in any disparaging way. Such a hard hit towards the boundary. And Klaassen 2 up in the air. This could be caught. It will be at fine leg. And that will be the end of Danny Lamb. A short ball from Klaassen. Lamb went for it and has carted it down towards fine leg. Just seeing who the fielder is there. Is that Ben Dawkins again? Check it out. It's Chris Benjamin, I beg your pardon. Chris Benjamin just at fine leg. It was a tricky catch in the end, wasn't it? Because it was going well up in the air, but got underneath it well. And Lamb goes 118 for 7 then in the 16th over.
I have to say, Matt, I think the Kent bowling and fielding has been, the fielding and the catching has been excellent. Aside from the Joey Everson effort there, which wasn't easy, I think the catching has been really exemplary this evening. Very, very good indeed, and Sussex under real pressure here, and Ollie Robinson is the new man in. I don't know why the scoreboard isn't showing. It's still showing Danny Lamb as being in, which is a bit odd.
Yeah, it's gone for 18 from 21 balls, trying to rebuild patiently, as patiently as you can be. It's pulled away by Robinson, this one from a ball just back of a length from Klaassen, and it'll be a single at the end of the over. So 10 off the bat, wicket as well, 118 for 7. They are at the end of the 17th over.
Well, I would have thought Ollie Robinson's role here is probably to get Nathan McAndrew on strike. 18 deliveries to go. It's so difficult to judge this, isn't it? Are we sitting here saying actually 140 would be a good score on the pitch, or have we got it completely wrong and it's a very good pitch and Sussex just haven't played very well and Kent have batted and bowled well? Only time will tell. But said he did look early on as if one or two of the batters were struggling to time the ball. But Kent, I think Sussex will think, Matt, from 78 for 2 to find themselves 118 for 7. That's not a great place to be.
No, they struck really well mid-innings, didn't they? Those 2 wickets for Nathan Gilchrist and 1 from leaning in a spell of 5 balls, important for him.
Here comes Gilchrist, ball hammered away down the ground by Ollie Robinson. He's going to pick up a boundary here, Ollie Robinson. I don't think they'll cut that off. No, they won't. The ball rolls up the slope. He just flat bats the ball down the ground as Ollie Robinson to pick up a welcome boundary for Sussex. Took a couple of steps away to the leg side and thrashed the ball down the ground for a boundary. Gilchrist has got figures of 3 for 24. He's on his way again, running in from the Cromwell Road in bowls to Robinson. It's down the leg side, and is that going to be a wide? No, it isn't, because I think the umpire took the view that Ollie Robinson had stepped away to the leg side, and the ball went between Robinson and the leg stump. I think that's why it's not been given a wide. We might get a replay of that.
Yes, a little word from Robinson to the umpire and back, and no surprise there, really. I think he'll be asking the question.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he did.
Gilchrist in again, bowls to Robinson, and it's hit in the air. Is it going to be caught? It's high to the air. Be a good catch if it's taken. No, it just dropped short of. Is that Finch coming in from the deep mid-wicket boundary?
Is that a leading edge? It went a long way up in the air, didn't it, from Robinson?
In the end, I think Finch took the option. He wasn't going to get there, so he just made sure it was no more than a single. One more to Robinson. He goes to 6. Sussex to 1. 24 for 7. Still 2 overs to go after this one. And can Nathan McAndrew play a dab hand here, and just get a quick 20 or so, get Sussex somewhere up round about 150 and give themselves something to bowl at? In comes Gilchrist, bowls down the leg side. That will be a wide, and that's the first wide of the innings. And I think probably that Nathan McAndrew's reputation is preceding him here, because I think they'll know that the big Australian can hit a very long ball. It's been a very disciplined performance here by Kent, and they'll be very keen not to give away, 30 or 40 runs in this last, 2 a bit overs. In comes Gilchrist, over the wicket, bowls, McAndrew right up in the block hole. He fiddles that to sort of shortish fine leg. Good delivery by Gilchrist, actually, right up in the block hole. And it's a single to McAndrew, who goes to 10. Sussex to 126 for 7. I've got half an eye on that game at Merchant Taylor's School, where I think Hampshire have won, which really does throw the cat amongst the pigeons. In comes Gilchrist, bowls. Robinson takes a step away, hammers that one out to the sweeper on the cover boundary. One more to Sussex, 127 for 7. At one stage it looked like Hampshire were in all sorts of trouble in that game, but they've won with 2 balls to spare.
Oh, crikey.
And the man they've got to thank is James Fuller, who made 43 in 26 balls. So this group, the Southern group, never disappoints, In comes Gilchrist, over the wicket, bowls, full toss, and McAndrew can't make the most of it. In fact, the ball's gone to shortish fine leg. I think Nathan McAndrew thinks that was over waist high. I don't think it was. McAndrew's looking at the square leg umpire. I don't think that was over waist high. Sam Billings gives Nathan McAndrew a pat on the back and says, those two would know each other from Big Bash.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a dot ball. Gilchrist got away with it. 127 for 7. 2 overs remaining. McAndrew is on... Well, Robinson is on 7. McAndrew's on 10. Yes, I didn't think he was on 1.
To be fair, they do have a TV umpire here, don't they, Nigel Long? So if it was over, they would have been rocking and rolling it on the footage to make sure whether it was in bounds or not. In fact, they may well be doing that now, because there appears to be a stoppage before Nathan Gilchrist is taken off,
and
he is now. So yeah, it was a
okay.
fair delivery. Yeah, Jack Shantry and Martha Saggers are the umpires standing, both tall figures.
Jack Shantry once came as a third voice in one of our county championship matches here. Yeah, many years ago. Nice chap. Former Worcestershire player.
Yeah, left arm seamer.
He was, yeah. Thoroughly nice chap, as most people in cricket are.
Penultimate over then. Fred Clarkson, 1 for 21 from his 3 so far, will bowl to Ollie Robinson. Over the wicket comes the left-hander, a left armour rather. It's swung away by Robinson out towards mid-wicket. It may bisect the field. Oh, it's a great attempt there by Mayeye. I thought he was going to let it run. He managed to dive on top of it. It's coming down the slope. Didn't pick it up cleanly as he dived, but managed to get his hand out, almost like a cat catching a mouse on the second attempt there. Managed to snaffle the ball. Well, that's a really good stop, because the momentum's taking him towards the boundary.
Very good.
There we are. They've taken 2 though. Robinson on 9, faces Clarkson. It's a short ball, it's a top edge. He might get 4 for this.
He will.
He will do indeed. And there we go. It's a false shot, if you like, but fortune favours the Brady's. Sprung hard. A short ball from Clarkson. It's always the risk for the bowler, going short. Top edge over Sam Billings, who shows his frustration, but not of the bowler at where it's ended up. 4 more for Robinson. Important runs these though for Sussex. 1-3-3 for 7, with 10 balls remaining of this innings. Slower ball from Clarkson, and Robinson looks frustrated himself this time, because he just didn't realise that the ball was dying on him, and he swats at the air angrily. So there we go, frustration all round. He didn't pick it. I think it's fair to say that one, Adrian.
No, but these are, as I say, you know, Sussex will just, if they can get to 150, I think just in your mind you think that's, you know, that it gives them something to bowl at.
I agree, and a bit of momentum at the end of the innings.
Yes,
will be important for them as well. As Clarkson bowls to Robinson, he goes well outside the leg stump. He's hit that straight at Dawkins, throws the ball in. Sorry, at Denley, throws the ball in. Doesn't hit the stumps. No overthrows though either. And they'll come through for a single. There we go, in the end. Denley keeping them honest. He's now having a chat with Chris Benjamin about something or other.
These fielders down here, the key fielders are here, are at long off, long on at cow corner. In fact, Mie's got his hands up against the sun, because the sun's getting quite low in the sky now. It's very bright.
Everson and Leaning are the men at long off and long on respectively. As Clarkson bowls, that's a bit of a top edge. Clarkson's underneath it, caught and bowled, and McAndrew goes.
Big wicket.
It's a very big wicket, absolutely, Adrian. With it may be only with 8 balls to come, but McAndrew could have made hay if they'd let him, Kent, and instead he has been wrapped up by Fred Clarkson, getting under that very early. And an easy catch, a return catch. Fred Clarkson, who has 2 wickets now, wickets in consecutive overs, and that looks, as you say, Adrian, even just with a handful of balls to go, that could be very important.
Absolutely, because Nathan McAndrew is that, you know, sometimes in T20 cricket you can get someone goes for 24 in the last over, that sort of thing. Now, I'm not saying that Robinson or Mills can't do that, because anything can happen in this form of cricket, but McAndrew is someone who could definitely do that. And I think now that 150 seems a bit of a way away for Sussex now. 134 for 8 and just 7 balls remaining.
Yeah, so Clarkson will bowl out here. He has 2 for 28. His final delivery. Tamar Mills faces him. Leaning jogs back at long on. Clarkson bowls now to the Sussex captain, outside the off stump. Fair delivery, says the umpire, though, and that will be through for a dot ball. The Dutchman takes his cap. Born in Haywards Heath, not very far away from here. 134 for 8, and that is the end of the 19th over.
Oh, interesting. Because actually, in fact, you do see a lot of cricketers, certainly Sussex cricketers, were born in Haywards Heath. I think that's where the maternity unit was, the hospital. So quite possibly they might live somewhere else in Sussex. So sometimes I say to people, "Oh, you're from Haywards Heath?" No, I come from Horsham. But actually, that's where they were born.
Similar to another number of Kent players in the West born at a place called Pembury, which is just outside Tunbridge Wells, which is exactly the same.
Similar sort of
maternity hospital is,
So final over to be bowled by Nathan Gilchrist, I think, from the Cromwell Road end. 3 overs, 3 for 28. He comes in and bowls to Robinson, who steps away. Robinson hits that one away, 4 runs. Good shot by Robinson. Cut away down to third man. A little cameo here by Ollie Robinson, who, well, we all know he can bat. He just doesn't do it enough. He's taken a step away and he's belted that one away to third man. And I would imagine that Sam Billings might be well advised to put the third man back in place, because he does like to step away, does Robinson. Billings is in deep conversation. I'm surprised he hasn't done it, because that is a typical Robinson shot.
He's just moving Clarkson around at deep backward square, I think.
And again, bowls fired in at the leg stump, clipped away by Robinson, out to deep mid-wicket. They've taken one, they can come back for the second. This is risky, the throw comes in, and Robinson is back for the second.
Yeah, I think Billings actually missed the bails on his first swipe. I don't know if Robinson was already safe.
I thought Robinson was out, or he's going to be out. Good running between these two. Coming back for the second, here it comes. No, I think he was probably home.
Yeah, I think Sam Billings would have been a bit more demonstrative if he thought he'd missed a run out there, maybe. But yeah,
140
good hustle.
Gilchrist in, bowls on the ramp, Robinson 4 more. Well, I don't know whether Sam Billings hasn't done his homework on the way that Robinson plays here, but it's just giving Sussex something to bowl at here. 144 for 8. Robinson goes to 24 off of just 12 deliveries.
I think you're right. Around 150 on this pitch, I think, from what we've seen, could make things very interesting.
He still hasn't got anyone. He still hasn't got a third man, and he still hasn't got a fine leg. Just a little surprised. Here comes Gilchrist again. Bowls, and Robinson, this one's high into the air. Now this has gone out towards long on. There are two fielders converging. And it's put down. Well, the Sussex catching has been very good. They're going to go back for 3 as well. Well, it wasn't an easy chance.
There's Jack leaning on the run there.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a brilliant catch if he'd taken it. But Robinson swung. Holly Robinson's having to have a few gasps of breath, because you don't get too many all-run 3s here at Hove. But Robinson goes to 27.
13 already off this final over with 2 balls to come. It could easily be the most expensive of
147.
the innings.
Well, we said, with McAndrew going, maybe that was Sussex's chance of getting to 150, but Robinson is just giving Sussex a squeak here. Gilchrist is in, bowls, short, and goes through to Billings. Billings throws at the stumps and misses, and the umpire has signalled a wide.
Gilchrist has hit the stumps at the far end. Are they checking that for a run out?
Possibly.
As he turned and Mills was, they're going to the TV, and Mills is walking off. Yeah, I think he did. In the chaos there, Adrian.
But it was a wide.
Yeah, in the chaos as Mills ran to the wicket keeper's end. Oh, sorry, to the other end. Gilchrist has sidearmed that at the stumps, and you see the bail has just come off. It absolute chaos. So it's a wide. It was too short, but Gilchrist here, as Mills is running towards the danger end, has clipped the stumps.
So Mills has gone, Mills has been run out. Crumbs, it gets confusing sometimes. But we are going to have a wide. Is it going to be a wide, or is it a free hit?
I think it's a wide, because it's a short ball. I think they were saying it was a short ball when it was a wide.
Right.
It was a short ball that wasn't hittable, so that's a wide. They've tried to run on the wide. They don't get anything for that.
Now who's going to be on strike?
So there'll still be 2 balls left.
And Robinson's on strike.
And it's one. Sorry.
Who's 27 off 13. He could be. If Robinson gets the highest score so far in the innings, will be 29 by Clark. So Robinson could become the highest scorer in the innings.
So Mills has gone, as I said. I think there'll still be 2 balls left.
Gilchrist in, bowls. Robinson pulls well to the leg side. It gets up a single. Has he been caught?
Yeah.
Yes, he has been caught. Paul Barley Robinson. Good catch. Is that Finch out there again? Who's taken the catch?
Yeah.
Good catch. Low down by Harry Finch. Very unfussy. And so Sussex haven't batted their overs. There's 1 ball remaining in the innings. But Sussex bowled out for 147. Cameo from Robinson, making 27. Henry Crocombe not facing the ball, not out. Now the scoreboard is showing 149 for 9, so we'll have to get confirmation of exactly what the score is.
That could be right. They run 1 off the wide, and then
the BBC website is showing the total as 148 for 9.
So I think they only went for a single, didn't they, off the extra? No, it's going to be 1 extra off the wide. So I think that would make more sense, would it not? Yes.
Well, we'll see in a moment exactly what the score is. A slight confusion whether it's 147 or 148.
What do they take off the last ball?
Well, it was caught. And they certainly didn't come back for 2 to make one of them count.
Well, I have to say...
Well, the BBC website is showing 148.
I feel like that's about right, but... the computer scoring has all just ground to a halt. Yeah, you're absolutely right, because it would have been wickets and consecutive balls, wouldn't it? So it should be. No, I think 147 might be right.
Right, well, I'm sure the scorers will make sure. Either way...
Yeah, sorry about the confusion, listeners, here, but it is not apparent.
No. But either way, Matt, my feeling is, I mean, we've said a lot about the pitch. It's difficult for us to judge the pitch. Is it a good pitch? Is it a pitch that's difficult? I think Sussex from 78 for 2 in the 10th over will be disappointed to have posted whether it's either 147 or 148.
But maybe from 118 for 7 in the 17th over. So it's been a sort of roller coaster of innings, isn't it? What I can tell you is Nathan Gilchrist has, for the second time in 3 games, posted his best career T20 bowling figure. So congratulations to him. 4 for 41 for Nathan Gilchrist. But yeah, it's a real curate's egg of an innings, that, isn't it? As you say, 78 for 2. Then an absolute collapse to 118 for 7, or 106 for 6 if you like, even 81 for 5. They looked in disarray, but to drag that back to 147 for 9, I'm not quite sure if I was looking at the 2 dressing rooms who would be the happier there, because I think Kent would have thought, well, maybe at 118 for 7 we should have closed that out, albeit without Tom Rogers, who only bowled 2 overs there, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Injured, so.
Yes, he did. I wonder whether he'll bat as well. That's another thing to take into account, of course, isn't it?
It is 148 for 9. I think it's been readjusted. There we are. So,
okay.
I think.
Yeah, 148 all out. Yeah, in 19.
That's all out. Sorry,
in 19.4 overs. So he still had a 19.5.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There we go. We've got there, because I don't think they'd added on the analysis, added the wide that the run out came off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So there we go. 148. So we think Kent will need 149. We're getting pretty close to deciding on that. I tell you what, while we make up our minds, we will have some other sport here on for BBC Radio Kent listeners on DAB and online if you care to stay with us, because we're talking international football and the Euros. England's women bouncing back in style this afternoon, beating the Netherlands at the championships in Switzerland, needing a win to remain in the tournament. Lauren James scored twice, Georgia Stanway and Ella Toone also finding the net. Hat-trick of assists for Alessia Russo, who's from Bearstead near Maidstone. So what did manager Serena Wiegman make of it all? She's been speaking to Joe Curry. So that's England manager Serena Wiegman talking after that 4-0 win against the Netherlands for the Lionesses. They now go into their final group match against Wales on Sunday at 8 o'clock, knowing a win will be enough to take them through to the quarter-finals of the Euros. Joe Curry's also been talking to two of the goal scorers from this afternoon's 4-0 win, Georgia Stanway and firstly Lauren James. Thank you. So that's two of England's goal scorers tonight, Georgia Stanway and Lauren James, speaking after that 4-0 win for the Lionesses. So win against Wales on Sunday, just to reiterate, will take them to the quarterfinals of that competition, back on track after their defeat against France, of course. 3 assists there, said for Kent's Alessia Russo. Great for her, great for the Lionesses. And you're listening to BBC Radio Kent on DAB, and joining with us with our friends at BBC Sussex, of course, for this game here at Hove between Sussex and Kent. We are at halfway. We can definitively tell you that Sussex were 148 all out. Did get a little bit confusing at the end, because I think in the melee that the scorers were not aware that the umpires had signalled wide on the ball that Tamal Mills was run out off of, which I have to say is a real rarity even in this form of cricket. So there we go. So Kent will need 149 to win here. A game it looks like they will need to win as well to have keep any chance of staying in within the arc of being able to perhaps qualify for the quarterfinals, with 3 games to go for them and 4 for Sussex after this. Adrian Harms beside me, Matt Cole, and Adrian, confusion there, but I think we managed to mop it up. I think the scorers hadn't seen the signal from the umpires that during the chaos that surrounded that Tamar Mills run out, that one of the umpires had actually signalled that there was a wide. So we thought it was 147 for a long time, 148 all out. The openers are coming out. Danny Bell-Drummond and Tawanda Mayeye. Sussex in a huddle.
Well, I would say this could be the decisive innings, or one of the decisive innings of this campaign so far, because if Kent were to win this game tonight, Hampshire have already won against Middlesex. It would mean Kent, Hampshire and Sussex would all have 22 points. Now Gloucestershire are playing Surrey tonight. Surrey have posted a good total, 195, but if Gloucestershire were to beat Surrey, Gloucestershire wouldn't be able to do it. But you just feel this game here now, if I think if Kent lose here tonight, I'm not saying they're done for, but almost. But Sussex will feel that if they lose as well, they've got 3 away games to come. So this is really important in the group. And I think you said Kent have got 3 home games to come.
Yes, three of the. Yes, indeed. So home against Somerset, home against Middlesex, home against Essex to finish. So it's sort of the opposite side of the coin to what Sussex have to do. And Somerset on Friday won't be easy, although Somerset, I'm sure they won't take their feet off the pedal, but they look like they are already qualified, 9 wins from 11. That'll do it, won't it? But Middlesex and Essex are both below Kent. Who knows? But that doesn't mean they're going to win those games either. So that's the wonder of T20.
It is, but it's, you just feel that this is a really key part of this T20 Blast competition for these two sides.
To have all three, Sussex, Hampshire and Kent, level on 22 points, I mean, that really will make it, if that were to happen. Sussex hoping to make it 26 after today. Coles will start. He bowls it round the wicket, fires it in towards the pads of Tuandamayeye, and it is in fact a wide. Umpire Jack Shantry indicates, as well, there's been plenty of music, hubbub, and suddenly it's all gone very quiet when the cricket's started up again. But take a wicket and you'll still hear about it. Oh goodness me! And that has looked like it come off the toe of Tuandamayeye. He may have played it down onto his toes. He didn't know where it had gone for a second. Out into the offside. Yeah, I think he's played it against the maybe against his boot, and it's gone out of the offside. So already looking tricky. Straight back at the bowler. Bump ball, crowd catch. Top ball though. And so there's 149. As we were saying during that Sussex innings, this didn't look that easy a pitch to bat on. Mayeye was beaten by a quicker one from Coles, but they come through for a leg by, I think.
Yes, I think it was.
That's a good quicker ball from Coles.
Yes, he's a very good bowler in this format, is James Coles. He's a fine cricketer, but Sussex really need everyone to come to the party here tonight.
Certainly rushed the Kent batter. Bell-Drummond faces and just runs it down to third inside the circle. They'll take a single very deliberately. Daniel Bell-Drummond, the two boundary fielders, he says, before actually trying to work out where they are at, there we are, deep square leg and deep mid wicket. That makes it a bit easier. Should really have worked it out before I started that sentence, but there we are. Coles around the wicket to Bell-Drummond. That's down the leg side again. That'll be another wide. And so I think Kent bowled one wide in their whole innings, and I think James Coles has bowled twice, bowled two in this first over, but he's not losing very much by doing that. They're driven into the offside because this is a dot ball to Tuandamayeye finding the fielder. Is that Danny Down?
It was Danny Down, yes,
Just trotting away. So last ball of the over, 4 for none. And they'll farm a single up to mid-off, come through. So they've made 4 in total, with all sorts of extras. 2 wide, a leg by, 2 off the bat. It's 5 for none. I'll get there eventually. 5 for none off the first over.
Yes, and that didn't look particularly easy, did it?
No.
I sometimes wonder as well, Matt, when you are chasing what is in T20 terms a comparatively low score, do you go for it? Do you sort of pat the ball around and then suddenly finally get behind you use a few wickets? It's a kind of a difficult score to chase, isn't it? If you get them adrift, do you go hell for leather as you would normally do in T20, or do you play more cautiously? But this will be the danger man, Ollie Robinson, coming in from the Cromwell Road end, second over to bowl to Muyeye. He's in and bowls. Muyeye is clipping this one away through square leg, picks up a single fielded by Henry Crocombe with a sliding stop on the deep backward square leg boundary, and it's a single to Muyeye. He goes to 2, Kent to 6 without loss in the second over. Sun's starting to disappear. It's been the most glorious day down on the south. As I came over the downs and you look out to the sea, it just looked magnificent today, the Sussex coastline. There's Robinson. Hush around the ground. Comes running in and bowls to Bell-Drummond, who's beaten. That's a good delivery. That's typical Ollie Robinson. Outside of the off stump, we're playing forward. The ball goes through to keep Simpson, and there is no run. Very interesting conversation I listened on Test Match Special the other day. I haven't heard Ollie Robinson's name spoken about in England circles for a long time, but there was quite a long debate with Michael Vaughan and a few others talking about saying, well, his record is so good, why is he not being spoken about? And clearly he's not in favour for England at the moment, but you wonder sort of who he is really. But here he comes, running in down the hill. Bowls, and Bell-Drummond placed firmly to mid on. Robson got his hands in the air, but Bell-Drummond placed to mid on. There is no run.
I think this is illustrating much what we saw from Kent's bowling up top it, that this is
It's not easy, this.
just trying to get on the front foot, trying to time the ball. It's not happening at the moment.
Yeah, so we thought Sussex were undercooked, and time will tell. But it certainly doesn't look straightforward in these opening couple of overs. Robinson is in bowls, and Bell-Drummond clips that one away. Now, did that come off the thigh pad, or did he get a little nick on that? We shall wait and see, and indeed he get a little nick on it. So Robinson erring down the leg side, and Bell-Drummond tucks that one away nicely down to the boundary for 4 runs, and Kent go for 10 for no wicket.
Yeah, he will risk both leg and off, playing very fine, Daniel Bell-Drummond. Playing his shots late as well, so maybe a tactic that'll help him against the quicks.
I always find he's key for Kent is Daniel Bell-Drummond. Robinson in and bowls, and Bell-Drummond is forward and just plays controlled onto the onside, picks up a single, fielded at mid-on by Nathan McAndrew. One more to Bell-Drummond, he goes to 6, 11 without loss. Here on BBC Radio Kent, DAB, Adrian Harms, Matt Coles, your commentary team. Floodlights shining brightly, really good crowd in here at Hove tonight. Sussex making 148, 4 wickets for Nathan Gilchrist. Tom Clark top scoring with 29 in what is a vital match in this southern group. Robinson is in, bowls, Mouillet drives, he's going to be caught at mid-on. The first wicket goes down, and Ollie Robinson picks up that worth wicket, and that's a rather tame dismissal from Mouillet. He just clips the ball straight to mid-on. Nathan McAndrew takes the catch, and Ollie Robinson picks up a wicket in his first over, and the Spitfires are 11 for 1.
Yeah, definitely didn't time that, did he? He's just clossed it up towards mid-on, and yeah, trying to carry the man there. You can see the intent, but drops well short and drops into the grateful hands of Nathan McAndrew there. So first blood, 11 for 1, and dare I say, it's exactly what happened to Sussex as well. They were 11 for 1 in the second over, and so yeah, this could be a fascinating contest. It is former Sussex man Harry Finch, as you said, scored 50, and I think at a couple of ball as well. A really good strike rate against Sussex.
Yes, he hit Ollie Robinson for 26 in an over, Matt.
Yeah, and comes out now to replace Tawanda Miyeye, who is departed for just 2 at the end of the second over. 11 for 1 then. Kent Spitfires needing 149 to win. Sussex has started very promisingly. James Cole is replaced by Aussie Nathan McAndrew at the CN. Bowls now to Bell-Drummond. Good straight drive, that one, and that should go for 4. It does, down the slight slope, and very nicely timed. Foolish ball from the man from New South Wales, Nathan McAndrew, and nicely timed by Daniel Bell-Drummond. That's a boundary, very little back lift, almost steered past the stumps for 4. Bell-Drummond goes on to 10, neatly struck. A slip in as well. You can see what Sussex think about this pitch. That may well benefit from close fielders, although they only allowed 2 outside the circle to start. They've got a boundary rider at deep backward point, and a man at deep square leg. So those 2 are taking care of the whole of the boundaries between them around the clock face of this pitch. 15 for 1, Kent Spitfires. McAndrew to Bell-Drummond, leaves it outside the off stump. You don't see many leaves, do you, in T20 cricket? But Danny Bell-Drummond thought better of that one.
You don't, and interesting that Sussex got a slip in there as well, because I think Tamil Mills probably feels that, you know, at this stage of proceedings, if you can get Bell-Drummond, Sussex are right in this game.
Said I was slightly questioning Kent's the balance of their side, bringing Benjamin for Parkinson, but actually, especially with the injury to Tom Rogers and only able to bowl 2 overs, the Australian, it might serve them very well indeed. On the leg side, all the Sussex players going up for a catch. Does Jack Shantry think it's a wide? He doesn't, so it may have clipped the thigh pad as it went through.
Difficult to tell, isn't it?
Close enough to the stump, says the umpire, but not close enough to the bat, obviously.
It was quite a big deflection, wasn't it? And Bell-Drummond immediately sort of put his bat up in the air as if saying, well, I haven't got anything on that. But You're never sure who's trying to kid who,
No,
really.
exactly.
Who'd be an umpire?
Massive appeal, batter showing you clearly that they were nowhere near it. They were not even the same postcode. But yeah, one of them's right. The umpire, I would suggest, is McAndrew to Bell-Drummond, trying the same shot again, but this time actually just on the offside of the stumps to check it back down the ground. Dot ball though, 15 for 1.
Good response from McAndrew, actually, a boundary off the first delivery,
Yeah.
and then 3 dot. He's bowling with good pace, actually.
Yeah, this could be far from what we would expected maybe. The reports of the pitch early on thinking this might be 190 plays 200 or something like that. This could be a fascinating contest, lower scoring, but none the worse for that. 149 Kent need to win. Sussex will be hoping to bowl them out well cheaper than that. Here comes McAndrew to Bell-Drummond, takes a pace down the pitch, carves that away. I'm not sure that's quite where he intended. On the full he took it. Looks a bit frustrated with himself actually, because he didn't make that into a full toss by coming down the pitch and just got himself a single into the offside.
No, you're right, but it was a good bit of fielding. I think that's Henry Croker all the way out there, who was round the boundary edge very quickly to... I thought the Kent fielding was excellent, the catching was very good, and it's been a feature this year actually of the T20 Blast. The standard of fielding just seems to improve year on year.
Yes, isn't it? Catches which seem impossible are now almost run of the mill for some fielders. As McAndrew bowls to Finch, fields it with his foot as well actually, taking the sting out of it. Finch was thinking about a single, he won't get it, just 5 off the over, and at the end of the third, Kent are 16 for 1 then, more or less mirroring again where Sussex were. This pitch not looking easy for batting, and
No, you're right.
looking top score for Sussex indeed was Tom Clark, wasn't it, with 29, and a late hurrah by Robinson 27, Coles 24. Otherwise batters have found it very difficult indeed to get going.
As Matt was saying, at the end of the third over, Sussex was 17 for 1, so it's nip and tuck at the moment as Robinson makes his way from the Cromwell Road end of the ground, bowls to Bell-Drummond, who hammers this one away. Now is he going to get 4 runs for this? He is going to get 4 runs. Not really where he intended it to go. He took a pace down the wicket, sliced the ball away down to third man, and once the ball beats the infield here at Hove, it really races away down the slope, and Tom Clark had no chance whatsoever of catching that up. So in successive overs, Bell-Drummond has taken a boundary off the first ball, which what do you think just relieves the pressure a little bit on the batting side? Yeah,
he had a bit of luck there, but I think he's probably right to do this, to give Ollie Robinson the charge early while the field's mostly in, and try and carry the...
Robinson in, Bell-Drummond hammers that. That's gone for 6. That's gone many a mile. It's absolutely been belted down the ground by Bell-Drummond over mid-on. You don't see Ollie Robinson very often hit for 6 straight down. I mean, that's a wonderful shot. You know, that really is a class shot by Daniel Bell-Drummond. He's absolutely middled that straight down the ground. Super shot. He goes to 21.
I think, given the quality of the bowling as well, I think that's
magnificent.
We haven't seen a better shot than that this evening.
No, that's the shot of the night.
Yeah. Goodness me.
Yeah. So 10 off the over so far. Bell-Drummond making a bit of a statement. 26 for 1. Oh, Kent, Robinson back to his mark. Bell-Drummond just surveys the field. And Robinson in again, bowls, and Bell-Drummond covers up, plays onto the onside. There is no run. Having hit a 4 and a 6, there's no need to do anything outrageous here, is there, for Bell-Drummond? You know, you think, you know, Ollie Robinson's such a dangerous bowler. You know, pick up. You know, if they could pick up a couple of singles here, Kent will think they've job done. Tom Clark just down on the boundary edge signing an autograph for a young fan. Good crowd here at Hove. Like floodlight shining. It's all what T20's about. The crowd in hushed expectation as Robinson wheels around at the Cromwell Road end of the ground. Is in, bowls to Bell-Drummond. Short, pulled away by Bell-Drummond. That's going to be 4 more. 2 short from Ollie Robinson. And Bell-Drummond just swiveled and hammered the ball away through backward square leg for 4 runs. Nothing wrong with that. That's a good shot. See it again. 2 short from Robinson. And Bell-Drummond, the field is up and smashed away for 4 runs. Good over as far as Kent are concerned. 14 off of it. Bell-Drummond goes to 25 and Kent to 30 for 1.
Yeah, mighty destructive he can be, Daniel Bell-Drummond.
Robinson in again, bowls, and Bell-Drummond covers up and plays that to backward point, fielded there by Daniel Hughes, the Australian, on the edge of the 30-yard circle. It's a dot ball.
Yeah, he scored some decent runs Both he and Tawanda Mieye are in the top 10 of runs scored in the Blast this summer. Bell-Drummond is 10th, but has a century of his own, as Mieye does as well. But perennially, Daniel Bell-Drummond, he seems to have been at Kent forever, but started very young, of course, as well in the first team.
Robinson in and bowls, pulled away by a Bell-Drummond. Is that going to be 4 more? No, it's just a single out to Henry Crocombe, fielding on the square leg boundary. 1 more to Bell-Drummond at the end of Robinson's over. An expensive over from Ollie Robinson, which cost 15 runs. And at the end of the 4th over, Kent are 31 for 1. At the same stage, Sussex were 21 for 1. So Kent currently on top. There's going to be another change of bowling. And Nathan McAndrew out of the attack. It looks like it's going to be Henry Crocombe who's going to come in from the C end of the ground.
Yeah, it's a good start, isn't it, for Kent here, or certainly from Daniel Bell-Drummond. Timing the ball when others have really struggled. So yeah, Henry Crocombe it'll be. Number 5 on his back from the C end, and Daniel Bell-Drummond having taken that single off the last ball the previous over. Back on strike here at Hove, and jabs it back towards the bowler. I think the crowd thought that might have been a catch, but it definitely hit the ground first, and Crocombe rather ruefully looking at his fingers of his right hand. It did pretty stiffly, and they come through very quickly, and this seems to be intent from Kent straight away.
Yes, I would agree.
They're running very hard indeed. But they do, of course, have the benefit of seeing what happened when Sussex batted, and Bell-Drummond got through that one very quickly. Good backing up by Harry Finch, who'll face his first ball here. Swings that away into the onside. 1 bounce to the fielder on the boundary. There's Tom Clark. I'll take a single. Sorry, that was his second ball, I beg your pardon. The first one, I think he saw off just after Tawanda Mieye was out. But off the mark.
So I think Crocombe, I certainly think Crocombe is now the quickest of the Sussex bowlers. I mean, Terrell Mills, when he bowls his quick one, is probably the quickest, but consistently Crocombe is, I would say, is the sharpest.
Little skip before he runs in now towards Daniel Bell-Drummond, who cuts that away. It'll certainly be a single out to deep point. You're not going to risk any more than that. As is that Nathan McAndrew out there? It is indeed. Prowling.
I think Kent will probably feel if they can pick up, if they're picking up 6, 7 and over here without losing a wicket for the rest of the power play, they'll feel in a decent position.
Yeah. 34 for 1 then, as Crocombe bowls to Finch. It's wide, and it's slammed away by Harry Finch. It was wide outside the off stump, a little bit short as well, but it's gone in the opposite direction. That's been pulled with some venom by Harry Finch, and he's timed that beautifully.
He has.
And that's no chance the fielder Clark on the onside. That's 4 runs.
It wasn't a great delivery, was it? Looks like Terrell Mills is going to bowl the last over the power play. He's warming up at mid-off.
So Kent 38 for 1. 2 balls to go this over from Crocombe. Now bowls to Finch. Finch, this one lifts, could be caught, and he's caught. Really good from Tom Clark. Adjusted his feet really well. He's taken it to his side, in fact, rather than run over the rope himself. He's put his hands down to his side and taken it very, very well indeed. Almost looks like an afterthought, but he's repositioned his feet so the ball doesn't take him over the rope. Really nice catch. As you were saying, Adrian Harms, the quality of the fielding just seems to go up year on year.
I agree.
That's Clark, he's picked that like it's nothing, and that's travelling at some speed from Harry Finch, who, as I said, looked like he was timing the ball very beautifully, but only for a short time. He's gone. Finch and Kent are 38 for 2.
Well, Harry Finch picked out the best fielder in the Sussex side, because that's what Tom Clark is. He's a very, very fine fielder. He's batting in the county championship. He's been under pressure, but one of the reasons he keeps in the side because he is such a fabulous fielder. I'm not saying that you should stay in the side because you're a good fielder, but he really is very good indeed. And Harry Finch picked out the wrong man. Now the new man in is Joe Denley. Sussex just fighting back here.
Yeah, gone for 5 then Finch. Denley's in now and drives back towards the bowler. Bounce and taken his right hand. Again, big shout from the crowd, who, well, many behind won't actually know what's happened to that ball when it's hit the ground, but Denley gets back into his ground. End of the over then. So just when Kent seemed to be perhaps accelerating away. Then there's a wicket, excellent bit of fielding by Clark. Crocombe takes a wicket, Finch has gone, and perhaps we're back when we started. Kent 38 for 2. This same stage after 5 overs, Sussex were 29 for 2. I think those 2 wickets are very important to both sides at this point. How fast Kent can accelerate from here is another thing entirely. Denley coming in to join Bell-Drummond.
Well, 2 very experienced campaigners here for Kent, as in comes another experienced campaigner, Tamal Mills. Left arm over the wicket bowls to Daniel Bell-Drummond. That's wide down the leg side, taken by John Simpson. There is no runs already. Sussex have bowled 3 wides. Drummond wanders around at his crease. It's the final over of the power play, after which Sussex will be able to have 5 fielders outside of the 30-yard circle. The floodlight shining brightly. Beautiful evening for cricket here on the south coast. It really is. Big crowd and a tense game, an important game in this southern group. It's Tamal Mills makes his way in again to bowl to Daniel Bell-Drummond, who's 28 not out. He's in, and Bell-Drummond plays that one down towards third man. They've taken one. They won't come back for a second because Tom Clark is there. So Bell-Drummond goes to 29. Kent at 40 for 2. They need to score at 7.3 and over from here on in. Current run rate 7.7. So really, in terms of T20 cricket, it's not a run rate that should scare Kent. What they will be worried about is losing wickets. And I think this is good captaincy from Mills, because for the new batter, who's Joe Denley, he's brought in James Coles into first slip. As in comes Mills. Down the hill, bowls, and Denley's beaten outside the off stump. He was rather groping for that, was Joe Denley. The ball goes through to keeper Simpson, and there is no run. That wasn't a great shot.
No, that's just a tentative feel for the ball, isn't it, rather than anything else?
Yeah, it was a little fortunate maybe not to get a little tickle on that.
He didn't know where that was going.
Mills wanders back to his marks. A wider single and a dot ball so far in this over. Nice sort of chatter and hubbub around the ground as Mills makes his way in again down the hill, racing in, bowls to Denley, and Denley is forward, pushes out into the offside, fielded by the lively Tom Alsop, and there is no run. Dot ball.
I see 13 played in every game, Tamal Mills, and 13 wickets so far.
Yes, I think by Tamal's own high standards, certainly in the first half of the competition, he wasn't at his best. He bowled very nicely down at Canterbury, where he took 3 for 20. But he's so experienced in this format, a little hop and a skip. In again, bowls to Denley, who drives down the ground. They go for a quick swing. We need to be quick here. Throw comes in. Oh, I think he's gone. Is he gone? No, he isn't. The umpire has said no. Now that was a really close decision. Sussex thought they got their man. They're going to show the replay, and I know we're a long way away. It was Denley's call. It looked like a really dodgy single to take, to be honest. See it again. He decides to go for the single. Here comes the throw. I reckon he's gone. Yeah, he's gone. I reckon he's gone.
Before he's grounded his bat, I think. I don't think his feet are in.
So it was Ollie Robinson with a bit of fielding.
Oh, he's limping after that, Ollie Robinson.
It's mighty close, but let's just see this again. Now let's just watch. I'm not sure he grounded his bat. Let's see. Oh, I think he's gone.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
Yeah,
as well.
he's gone. That wasn't a good bit of running by Joe Denley. Waiting for the decision. Out.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's a waste of a wicket, really. Such an experienced player. He had no need to do that, really. And he was always struggling. Good bit of fielding by Ollie Robinson. I think Joe Denley would be desperately disappointed by that, Matt.
Yeah, and there's a third in the power play as well. I guess they're trying to push things along, and say Joe Denley had run pretty well between the wickets before that. I was just mentioning that about Kent, wasn't I? But before, but that's pretty much suicidal, isn't it? And as soon as it hit, as you say,
it just even from this distance, it looked mighty tight, didn't it?
Struggling. So Sam Billings comes in. Well, the captain has not had for Kent not had a great T20 blast so far, but vastly experienced, obviously, and has played all around the world. And I'll say it to him, blue in the face. He was part of the team that won the Big Bash. He was part of the team that won the International League, and got into the final of the Pakistan Super League as well. but with Kent, he struggled this summer.
So here comes Tamal Mills. Good over for Sussex so far. Comes in and bowls to Daniel Bell-Drummond, and Bell-Drummond cuts this one away fiercely down to third man, fielded by Clark on the third man boundary, or deep backward point boundary. Bell-Drummond looks a good nick. He goes to 30 of 20 deliveries, and Kent to 41 for 3.
Great over this so from Tamar Mills,
It
isn't
is.
it? So 1 for 3 so far. Sorry, none for 3. Of course, it was a run out, but a wicket in there. You might say it's the pressure that's forced he put on Joe Denley has forced him into taking a suicidal run.
These two know each other very well, Sam Billings and Tamal Mills. You can see that I went out for the toss, and they're all sort of like old mates, really. I mean, they see each other all around the world in T20 combat. They know what they're both capable of. Mills in bowls to Billings, who clips that onto the onside and picks up a single through mid-wicket off the final ball of the over. That's a good inning over as far as Sussex is concerned. The final over of the power play has just gone for 4 runs, and at the end of it, Kent are 42 for 3. So off the final 14 overs, they need, another 107 to win. The run rate really shouldn't be a problem. It's more the wickets.
Yeah. Oh, got a picture of the worm. There we go. Is the graph, which just puts them more or less even Stevens, and it's not far off. Kent have 4 more runs in the power play than Sussex did. They've lost more and more wicket as well. What all that means, well, we'll find out later.
Yes, we will. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I'm going to make any predictions at this point, but James Coles to bowl his second over. His first one went for just 4. It's the first of the piece. Sam Billings, good player of spin, but I wonder how big he'll go and how quickly, or whether this one's one to build on the back foot, to nudge into the onside. They think about a second, do they? No, ran the first one quickly, but to be honest, fielder there, Tom Alsop, coming from the boundary very quickly, so it's just 1 off the first ball by James Coles. And I was thinking, what does Duckworth Lewis say? Well,
54.
Yeah, it says Kent are a bit behind here, so 54 at the end of the over, I think. As Bell-Drummond plays that in an identical spot, the two right-handers, and this time, though, it is Tom Clark who flies in from the mid-wicket boundary to pick it up. Again, kicks into 1.
I mean, these two are so experienced. You'd have thought, push the ones and the odd 2 is what Kent need here. Just, nudge them up.
Yeah.
You need to go. Got plenty of overs in hand.
Round the wicket, Coles once again. Billings defends it into the offside, more or less, just not aggressing that one. But I do wonder, though, this is not a pitch that looks like it'll be easy to score quickly on, so they don't want to drop too far below the required rate, do they? They're at 6 3/4, 7 3/4 is what they need. That's jammed into the ground by Billings, trying to make himself room and drive it off the back foot, and it bounces though up pretty harmlessly and taken on the run by the fielder coming in from the offside. It's Harrison Ward, and more from Coles. Straight back at him, good fielding off his own bowling from James Coles there. And they're just 2 off the first 5 balls for the bowling of the Sussex left arm spinner rather. The Kent captain is facing him, Sam Billings. Now he goes, I think he was again driving that straight, but that's come off the inside part of the bat. There'll be a single up to long on. Really good over. None for 7 off 2 overs, James Coles. And keeping Sam Billings quiet. 45 for 3 then, just 3 off that over. And a really close run affair between these 2 sides, but that was a great over just after the power play.
Well, Danny Lamb is going to come into the attack. Now, Danny Lamb took 5 for 15 down at Canterbury on Friday night. And I just wonder whether this pitch might suit his style of bowling.
Joey Evisons didn't go for many, did he? With
no,
his
just difficult to get away is Danny Lamb. If ever Kent needed a skipper's innings, this is the night for it, really. Yeah. Can Billings get his side over the line? So he hasn't had a great tournament. He's 3 not out as in comes Lamb over the wicket bowls, and Billings is going to be... Oh, no, he's not. Well, he gets a very fortunate single, a leading edge. The ball ballooned over mid-off down to long off, fielded by Ollie Robinson. And all sorts of signals between the Kent batters here about what's going on with the pitch. But I think we probably called it right, Matt, in the first place. It's not easy. And this may not be straightforward for Kent. The run rate required up to 8 and over. Lamb in bowls to Bell-Drummond, who clips away through mid-wicket, picks up a single, does Bell-Drummond. He goes to 32. Kent to 47 for 3.
Yeah, Billings is, well, 126 runs in the tournament before this innings, average of 18, and strike rate's okay, but he just really hasn't got going. A couple of 30s, I have 38, but by his standards.
Yeah, not great. Lamb in bowls to Billings. Billings is forward, plays down the onside of the track. Lamb fields off his own bowling. There is no run. I mean, they would know this. I mean, these are experienced players, but as Matt was saying, they won't want to get too far behind the run rate here because it's already up to 8.2.
Yeah, if you think about how many overs have gone for 8 in the Sussex innings, not many.
No. Robinson in, Lamb in bowls, clipped away onto the onside. Now they've taken one, they'll think about 2, but there isn't a second run there. A bit of fielding out on that deep mid-wicket boundary. There's a combination of, that was Lamb and Crocombe out there.
It's been a while since Bell-Drummond's been a little bit at start for the strikes, and Billings has faced 9 balls now for 5. Bell-Drummond 32 from 22.
Lamb, 3 singles off the over so far in a bowl to Bell-Drummond, who cuts this away to backward point, followed by Daniel Hughes. If he hits, he's out. Oh, he missed. And could there be an overthrow? Yes, there is an overthrow. James Cole's very quickly around to prevent more than that. But I'll tell you what, if Hughes' throw had hit, I think that could have been a problem.
Yeah, I think you're right. Very ambitious with that first run. Actually, no, I think Sam Billings might just have made it, but yeah, it would have been close though. You're absolutely right. Sorry, I'm splitting hairs with you there.
Half century up for Sussex, 50 for 3 as Lamb is in bowls, and Bell-Drummond, well, he's back and he lost that down the ground. They've taken one, they won't take 2 to Ward, who's another good fielder. I mean, all the fielding from both sides has been very good. Throw comes in, so a good over from Danny Lamb at the end of it. Kent are 51 for 3, so 6 off the over, a little less than the required run rate, but the important thing I think for Kent here is that Billings and Bell-Drummond stay together.
Billings is going to have to try and find some form here, I think, isn't he? Just try and play himself into it. Bell-Drummond looks, well, he's hit the ball as well as anyone, I think, isn't he, on this evening so far. 51 for 3, but I think it was a real illustration of that last delivery. It's just a slower one, and it seemed to take Daniel Bell-Drummond by surprise. Now, he's a fine batter. It just seems there's a little bit of life in this pitch, which Lamb was finding there and varying his pace. Crocombe then will bowl his second over, bowling to Daniel Bell-Drummond, who just runs it down to third or through third. It'll be 4 runs. Plays that shot so late, Daniel Bell-Drummond, but absolutely deliberately.
Well, that was a nice shot.
Yeah, it's gone through third and past the man at third. No disrespect to them at all. They had to dive their left. It's going for 4.
Yeah, maybe a little disappointed. I'll just see that again, whether he perhaps could have got a hand on that.
Maybe. Some of the fielder is out there, but
I think it's Daniel Hughes.
Yeah, but it's going at quite a pace, isn't it? He's using Crocombe's pace to take it fine there, just opening the face, and Crocombe bowls to Bell-Drummond now. Wraps him on the pad, I think going down though, and they'll take a leg by from that one.
It does help when you get a boundary off the first ball, doesn't it,
Yeah.
Matt? Because all of a sudden you think, right, we're 5 off the over. If we could pick up another 3 or 4 singles, that's the 8 and over that Kent need.
Yeah. To say all the way through this, which really indicates what we've been saying about this wicket, is that there's such a conversation going on between the batting partnerships, aren't there? They're constantly talking to each other. What's that one done? Field being changed around.
Maybe singles on the leg side. Yeah, look.
Yeah. They're offering Sam Billings. He wants to swing across the line here. Crocombe bowls to him, and he drops it into the offside actually. Will they run hard for 2? They will. Throw comes in from Clark. Close. But I think Danny Butter on this occasion was back. He ran for second very hard, but they really are stretching the envelope here, aren't they, these two?
Good running that. I mean, because Sussex,
committed.
With the right shot, there is 2 every time here because the fielders are on the boundary, but there's no one saving a 1 on that leg. So 4 fielders guarding the leg side boundary.
So yeah, 7 off the over of the first 3 balls, which is good for Kent, as they've had a couple of quiet ones, courtesy of Messrs Coles and and Lamb. Before that, Jamal Mills.
It's Ollie Robinson.
Changed the field.
Yeah.
Well, they are going to try and negate that shot from Sam Billings, bringing Clark into a mid-wicket inside the circle now. So Billings comes down the pitch and thunders it back over the bowler's head. That's 6. Well, that was sweetly struck from Sam Billings. He's taken a couple of paces down the pitch to Crocombe and hit it very cleanly indeed. 6 runs.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know whether this, I mean, that's where your experience comes in. I think Sussex have changed the field. Now, they haven't got the long off. Are they going to now?
Yeah, it's a very good point.
But it was drilled straight. Now Robinson is making as if he's going to go down to long off, and that means they're going to have to bring someone else inside the circle, I think. Yeah. So they are. Robinson's going to go to long off. They're going to bring the 3rd man up now.
It's a very good call, isn't it, as you say, because Billings has targeted that vacant area, thinking risk-reward, I can go over the bowler's head here perhaps, and what will he do with this one? And walks on the pitch again. This time I think he just mishit it into the onside from way outside the leg stump. He's advanced there. Oh, that's what he was trying to do. Thanks, Sam. He was trying to get inside the line and smash it over mid-wicket. Well, that definitely didn't happen, but it's a dot ball instead. I like it when cricketers do that. They mime the shot they were trying to play, so you know the intention, even if it wasn't executed perfectly. So last ball of Crocombe's second over. He's gone for 19 so far, but with the wicket of Harry Finch. Bowls now to Sam Billings, who does time the ball into the onside. Have they got room to take a second? They're going to try and take it. The arm of Clark. Goodness me, it's not out. It hasn't hit the stumps. Crocombe with a smile on his face. I think that one would have been close, because rather than just dropping it into the onside, if anything, Sam Billings hit it slightly too hard, so it's close to Clark. He runs in. Bell-Drummond's actually out of shot, so we can't tell. But they're taking a 2. That's a good over from Kent.
Very good over. 15 off the over.
66 for 3 then off 9.
Easy to say from up here. I almost felt that Henry Crocombe was a young bowler, but he had 2 or 3 people giving him advice there. I'm never quite sure about that. The field kept on changing, and Billings is a very fine player in this format. Anyway, Daddy Lamb, good over as far as Kent were concerned. Comes in from the Cromwell Road end, bowls to Bell-Drummond, who plays down the ground. They'll just pick up a single, will Kent, and the run rate with that very good over now is down to 7.6 an over, the required run rate. Billings on 15, as we were saying, he hasn't really played a big innings for Kent in this competition so far, certainly not a match-winning innings. Will this be the night? Bell-Drummond on 40. In comes Lamb. Runs in, bowls to Billings, and he sits on the pad. Danny Lamb is appealing, he's pleading with umpire Saggers to give that out. He says not out, it's a leg by. Have a look at this again. Oh, it's not a bad shout, you know.
No, it's not bad.
So those given.
Does he say the impact is just outside the leg stump? Maybe because it's hit him on the instep, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah, it looked to me as if it was, whether he thought it was slipping down the leg side, I don't know, but it looked a decent shout. Anyway, give Lamb in, bowls. Bell-Drummond plays beautifully down the ground, picks up a single down to long off, fielded way down in the distance by Ollie Robinson. Gets in the throw, one more to Bell-Drummond. He goes to 41, 69 for 3, by far the highest individual score of the match. Bell-Drummond wants something borne out to him. He's just waving towards the dressing room. Maybe a new pair of gloves, or...
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, he's a key wicket here. Bell-Drummond's playing very nicely. 69 for 3. Lamb is in, bowls. Billings eases that onto the leg side. Picks up a single after that. Very good over. There's no need for Kent to go mad here. 4 off the over, 4 singles. One of them a leg by.
And this is, in a low-scoring contest, it does give a slight advantage to the team batting second, doesn't it? Is they can take a single like that without much worry.
Yes,
if they can think, we know where we are in this over, we know what we've got to get. Like getting it easy, it might be easier said than done, obviously.
Lamb in, bowls. Bell-Drummond pulls onto the onside to demonstrate. Maybe kept a bit low, but Bell-Drummond managed to pull the ball onto the leg side, picks up a single. 5 off the over. These two will just feel that they keep the scoreboard ticking along, and if Kent are going into the last half a dozen overs, needing 8, 9 and over, they'll feel they're very much in this game. Even less than that. Lamb In again, bowls. Billings clips that onto the inside, picks up another single. That may be another leg by. Actually, I don't think Billings will be too bothered whether it's a leg by or not. Let's come off the bat. So end of the over. Daniel Bell-Drummond's going to get a change of gloves. So 10 overs gone, halfway through. Kent are 72 for 3. Bell-Drummond on 42. Billings is on 17. Kent need to score at 7.7 and over if they're going to win this match. 10 overs to go. I think we could be in for an exciting finish. What want to call it at this stage?
I think it's absolutely nip and tuck, isn't it? This is the 10th over was the one where Sussex lost a couple of wickets or 2 and 2 balls off Nathan Gilchrist, and they got to 79. So, we could well be going to the last 6 deliveries in this one. So, and that is fantastic for the crowd, isn't it? Not great for the nerves.
No,
for the crowd. Coles will bowl his set. He's bowled really well.
He has bowled very nicely.
2 overs, none for 7 so far. They've not found an answer to him. Billings faces now. He goes for the sweep down on one knee. Doesn't really middle it, and it'll go for along the ground. I think what Billings is doing there is he's trying to make absolutely sure it's along the ground. He's well capable of hitting slog sweeps big and into the crowd, but he's been conservative there, and it's just a single into mid-wicket. Daniel Bell-Drummond asks for his guard from umpire Chantry. Coles bowls to him. Leading edge there. Yeah, and the crowd, as I could hear the murmur, the ooh from the crowd, because that's a miss hit, and that's gone out into the offside for a single.
Very good James Coles here, hasn't he?
Yeah, turn him around.
2.2, he's only conceded 9 runs.
Yeah. 14 balls so far. Down the pitch comes Billings, is up high in the air. Fielder comes underneath it. They converge. It's going to be caught by Ollie Robinson. And Nathan McAndrew actually runs past him. Robinson said, I was always catching that. But just for a second, it looked like they might collide. Then McAndrew had run past Robinson, who I have to say, with a good deal of distraction, the big Australian thundering towards him, has taken that very, very well. Billings goes. And he goes going for it as well for 18. Now Kent is 74 for 4. Another twist, another turn in what is an absolute thriller here at Hove, in a game that Kent needs to win, and Sussex will think it will be very important for them as well in the context of trying to make the knockout stages of this competition. Billings is caught by Robinson. Bowled by Coles, who's been excellent. He has 1 for 9 now off 2.3 overs, and Billings went for 18.
I just wonder whether he really needed to play that shot. I know there'd been a couple of singles off the over, but it was a big shot to play, and I know it's a short boundary down the ground, and if it goes for 6, we say what a great shot. So I'm always mindful it's very easy to say from up here, but I just thought that Bell-Drummond and Billings were just seizing the initiative back for Kent at that stage. Skipper's gone, and now it's right back in the melting pot now.
So Chris Benjamin comes in at number 6. Dislocated his shoulder against Middlesex in the second game of Kent's T20. Said to be out for the season by the medical staff, and has worked his way back in double quick time, and takes a single up to long on. It feels like a bit of a miracle. He's just on the pitch, frankly, this evening.
Yeah.
But single taken, 75 for 4.
And of course, Kent may be a batter down, because we're not at all sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Tom Rogers doesn't come out to bat.
Yeah.
And he'll bat at 7 or 8 normally for them. The Australians was jabbed into the offside by Daniel Bell-Drummond, but they cannot find an answer to James Coles at the moment.
That kept a bit low, actually. I think Bell-Drummond did pretty well to keep that out,
So 1 for 10 he has so far, and coming in for his last ball of his 3rd over here as well. Daniel Bell-Drummond is facing, he has 43. One batter that's coped so far to an extent, and he just defends that from Coles. He's having nothing of it. He's just defended it back at the bowler. Great bowling, 1 for 10 off 3. Bell-Drummond has 43 off 32. He's coped best out of, well, probably anyone in the 2 teams so far, but that still doesn't mean Kent are going to win this. In fact, they're falling behind the required rate. The Duckworth Lewis as well, 75 for 4, 1 for 3 off that over from James Cole. Fantastic return from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Bell-Drummond using all his experience. I think Bell-Drummond has sized this pitch up, hasn't he? You know, he clearly feels he's the key man. Bell-Drummond stays. Kent could go close here. You know, he's anyway. 8.2 is the required run rate. Beautiful sunset here on the south coast. As who have we got now? Tamel Mills back into the attack. He's going to bowl the 12th over from the Cromwell Road end of the ground to Chris Benjamin. He's in and bowls, and Benjamin drives and he's caught! Terrific catch by Tom Alsop, driving the ball away. Alsop is there, plucks the ball out of the air. Benjamin goes for a single, and now you'd feel that Sussex are perhaps favourite. Drove the ball on the out. Alsop is in there at short extra cover, takes the catch, and Kent are now 78 for 5.
And this feels very similar to the Sussex innings, but they found a way at the end of their innings to eke out the runs. At the moment, Kent are in big trouble here. Jack Leaning will come in next, and he was the one man that held his head up in that game against Glamorgan with 45 or 40 balls in a terrible innings for Kent of 118 for 9. Shows you how well he did from batting at number 6, but he and Daniel Bell-Drummond, you think the senior batters really have to stick around for this, because this is looking very, very difficult to bat on. And I'm changing my mind now. It was a great idea to bat first. And turns out 148 all out was a really imposing total, putting all sorts of scoreboard pressure on. I don't know. Yeah. Strange old game, T20. Leading comes in to join Daniel Bell-Drummond.
Well, we did say, didn't we? We you know, halfway through we thought, oh crumbs, is this pitch quite what we thought it was going to be? But Sussex, you would say, will fill. I think Sussex are ahead now. And much depending on these two, I would say. We don't know whether Rogers is going to bat, but you feel one of these two has got to make a big score. In comes Mills. Down the hill, bowls to Jack Leaning. Leaning drives down the ground. Bell-Drummond wanted a single, it wasn't there, and Robinson fields at mid-off, and there is no run.
Yeah, Mills has only conceded 4 so far off his first 8 deliveries, with a wicket as well. Caught one of Benjamin.
The game's turn. But for Kent, Daniel Bell-Drummond is still there, and he's batted beautifully. He's on 43. He's not facing at the minute. It's Leaning who's got to face Tamel Mills. Down the hill bowls. He drives firmly away to beat backwards square. Good bit of fielding out there by Tom Clark. It's very, very quick around the boundary edge and gets in a good throw. It's just a single to Leaning, who's on his way. Total goes to 76 for 5. It leaves Bell-Drummond on strike, and you feel he's the key man here, Matt. Run rate required up to 8.6 and over, so it's nudging upwards. As Matt was saying, we haven't seen too many overs in this game that have gone for sort of 8s and 9s.
No, certainly he didn't want to be reaching double figures, I don't think, perhaps not until right at the end.
Yeah. Mills around the wicket bowls, and Bell-Drummond clips fine. He just picks up a single. Crocombe comes in off the deep backwards square leg boundary to field, gets in the throw. One more to the total. Bell-Drummond to 44 off 33, to 77 for 5. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's very difficult, isn't it? But you look at, I just wonder with the Billings shot, if those two had stayed together for another couple of overs, but then Billings might say, well, you can't get yourself so far behind the run rate, so at some stage you need to take some sort of a risk. Leading faces Mills around the wicket bowls, and that's wide outside the off stump. In fact, he's clipped that one down here towards third man. They picked up one. They think about the second. Good fielding by Daniel Hughes, who was very quickly round from third man to field. One more to the total. Leading goes to 2, and the total to 78 for 5.
Yeah, not a bad bit of improvisation in the end, was it?
No.
I thought he might just sneak through for a...
Yes, I did.
Bit.
I thought for a minute it was running down here to third man for a boundary, but Hughes cut it off.
Just 3 off the over though still, on that wicket of Chris Benjamin.
Yeah.
Tamel Mills.
A good couple of overs for Sussex with the previous over from James Coles. I wonder whether he'll be bowled out now. We'll see. Mills around the wicket bowls to Bell-Drummond, who plays into the offside, fielded by McCann. Drew at point, but not before they've scuttled through for a single. Bell-Drummond goes to 45, and Kent at the end of the over are 79 for 5. Just for comparison purposes, at the end of the 12th over, I've got here Sussex were 85 for 5.
Yes,
so Sussex have got their noses in front. And it looks like it's Nathan McAndrew who's going to come in. So James Coles is coming out of the attack, and McAndrew going into the attack.
It's interesting. I mean, the way they're treating Coles at the moment is as one of their strike bowlers almost, isn't it? He's perhaps with a new man in. They're thinking, we'll just have an over of James Coles up our sleeve here, and because he's been so mean, they just haven't found a way of playing him. Particularly Daniel Bell-Drummond, I suppose, has looked much better against the older bowlers than he has against Coles, as this one's cut away with some force out to the offside boundary, fielded by Crocombe. They'll just take a single. Good throw coming in from the young bowler as well. A whip of an arm. And so just the one off it. Jack Leaning and Daniel Bell-Drummond in conversation. Bell-Drummond 46 off 35. Has been the pick of the batters out here so far, but he might be the best batter in the game. He might still find himself on the losing side.
Sussex have got 5. Well, they had 5 inside the circle, but now they've decided just to keep it at 4. Mills has gone trotting all the way back to fine leg.
You can almost see the point of that, of keeping more pressure on the batters not to take singles. It's driven by Leaning. That's a great shot. That's 4 runs. That's almost like a pitching wedge, that.
Yeah. He's a good golfer, isn't he, Jack Leaning, I think?
They're all golfers.
Yeah, they are. They are good golfers. Everyone's
just kept it really low, and he just held the pose.
Yeah.
It scooted through onto the green. No, sorry, over the boundary. 4 runs.
First boundary for a while again.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. It's 4 runs. So improvised shot maybe from Jack Leaning, but finding a way. Nathan McAndrew bowls to him now, and this one is pushed past the man at point out towards the offside boundary, and they'll take one more. So 85 for 5, halfway through the 13th over. Duckworth Lewis at the end of this is 96, so Kent lagging behind. Just looking at the required rate and the run rate. I can't find that on the scoreboard, we'll get there eventually. Yeah, current run rate 6.8, required run rate about 8.5, so lagging behind.
They'll think if they can have a big over somewhere.
Yeah.
They'll just want to take it deep, won't they, Kent?
Yeah, just keep themselves in this if they can. McAndrew to Bell-Drummond. It's a bounce right to the off stump. It's a wide, says the umpire. It's gone over Danny Bell-Drummond's head. You could tell what Danny Bell-Drummond thought of that, because he didn't move, did he? He just let the ball balloon. He wasn't going to take it on. It is a wide. Worth a try, though, from Dan Hughes. Again, if the batter goes for it, it's back of a length, it's slower. Trying to deceive Daniel Bell-Drummond, but just a little bit too wide at the stumps for him to take on. That's McAndrew bowls. Slow ball again. It's cut away by Bell-Drummond. Will they think of a second? They won't. Just come through for the 1. So 87 for 5. 2 balls to come off the 13th over.
Yeah, what have they got off this over so far? 5, 6, 7 and a wide. They've got 8 off the over, so they'll feel it's not been a bad over, Kent.
It's just about up with the required rate at this point, plus whatever they can get off the last 2. Nathan McAndrew will be hoping none at all. Bowls to Leaning again. He's taken pace off there. Leaning waits for it and drives out the offside. They've taken 2 there. Bell-Drummond's gone, is he?
That's
goodness me. And Danny Bell-Drummond, the set batter, looks like he's been run out. I think he's just walking to the dressing room.
That is madness. Why on earth did they come back for the second run? Brilliant fielding by Robinson.
Really
he's
was,
a very good fielder, Ollie Robinson. I don't know why on earth they've decided to take him on as the second run out he's got.
I can only agree with you there. Danny Bell-Drummond's set. He's the one batter that's managed to get the pace of this pitch.
He called it.
He did. He called it. He turned. And
He's miles out.
Yeah.
Miles out.
Danny Bell-Drummond just bangs the floor in frustration as he goes, and he was gone. I mean, he was walking, wasn't he, Danny Bell-Drummond? He didn't wait to see the decision. 88 for 6. Well, again, I think it's the nature of this pitch and how difficult it is to score on, that it's putting pressure on the batters. They're making mistakes. Danny Bell-Drummond, though, looked like he could be the key man for Kent. Not anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
47. So he goes in the 13th over. Kent at 88 for 6, and who's coming in now. It's Joey Evison. Well, that will make sense anyway. Wouldn't necessarily be Tom Rogers at this point. I'd imagine he'll only bat in an emergency, depending on what his injury is. But
well, he's had a good night, hasn't he, Ollie Robinson? Those 27 runs, you know, and he got a good catch to get Sam Billings. He's had 2 run-outs, and he's taken a wicket as well. Yeah. So he's had a good night as Ollie Robinson.
He really has. So Jack Leaning has 8. He and Joey Evison now. Joey Evison is just, I think, 1 double-figure score. He hasn't faced many deliveries, to be fair to Evison, but hasn't looked in particularly good touch with the bat when he has. Has to find something now. Jack Leaning. Ooh, that got big on him as he tried to pull that away. Has that hit him on the gloves, actually? Jack Leaning gets it into the onside for a single. End of the over from McAndrew. None for 15. 89 for 6 off 13. And Kent are struggling here. Sussex taking a slow stranglehold, I think, on this game.
The strange thing with that over was that they'd had a decent over, hadn't they? They got 8 off the over, Kent. There was always a single down to long off. That would have been 9 off the over. Always very easy from up here, isn't it, though? But I could get a couple of run-outs. So Sussex in the ascendancy here. Danny Lamb to bowl the next over. He's going to be bowling to Jack. I think Leaning made runs down at Glamorgan, didn't he, the other night? So
he did, I was saying, he made 45 in a very low total. So, yeah, the one that held his head up high.
Lamb in bowls, call that kept low. My word, crumbs. Big inside edge fielded by Tamel Mills at fine leg. But Leaning survives. He goes to 10. And Kent to 90 for 6.
Bit of movement as well, though, from Danny Lamb there.
Yeah. Beautiful sunset away to our left-hand side in the west. As the lights shine ever brighter. This big crowd here at Hove tonight. In comes Lamb. Over the wicket bowls, and Everson plays the ball down the ground to long on. It's just a single, fielded by Ward.
Yeah, just looking at the table again and how important this is for Kent. If they lose here, they can only make 7 wins out of their 14 games, and that, by and large, will not be enough. They have 1-0 result, but it'll be 7 wins, 6 defeats, even if they were to win all the remaining 3. So this is massively important, these last few overs for them.
In bowls, cut away firmly through point. They've picked up 1. Surely they're not going to go for a second here, are they, against Clark, who gets in the throw? No, that would have been very unwise. Just a single to Leaning, who goes to 11. Brings Everson on strike, 92. See, the run rate required is still out the way. It's only 8.8. I say only 8.8, but if you can get close, you never know if you have a big over.
You might take it into the last over.
You know, have someone like Robinson. Lamb in bowls, driven firmly down to long off. Picks up another single, does Everson. He goes to 2, the total to 93 for 6.
I'd say if Rogers doesn't bat, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing, isn't it?
Gilchrist and Class and Kent fans will not expect much from either of those, and that's going to be their issue there, is eking out those 8 runs. But I guess if, you know, a Leaning or an Everson can stay with them, we'll see.
Lamb in again, bowls, and play back down the pitch by Jack Leaning. Lamb fields off his own bowling. Round of applause around the ground. Taking
all the pace off, and throughout this, pace off has been so difficult to judge, I think, for the batting teams. And Lamb's bowling, I would assess, even slower than he does normally. He's bowling all his slower deliveries here, foxing the batters.
Lamb in bowls, uppishly played to backward point, fielded by McAndrew. There is no run, so good over by Danny Lamb. Just the 4 runs conceded, and at the end of it, Kent are 93 for 6 at the end of the 14th. So Kent need another 56 to win, is that right? Yeah, 56 to win in 6 overs.
The trouble from here is they're going to need a big over.
Yeah, they are.
And I guess, as you were saying, that their job, probably these 2, is to take it as deep as they can, but to try and keep themselves in with a chance. Both great strikers of the ball when they can strike it, but James Coles comes back in. 1 for 10 off 3. Kent can ill afford for this to go for 3-4 runs. Needs more. Everson tees off, and that'll be 6.
That's gone a long way.
Well, there we go. And James Coles had gone for 10 off 3 overs. He's gone for 6 off 1 ball for Joey Evison, and that was really my question. Is at some point it's all very well saying take it deep, but if you're going to need,
no, totally,
even double figures off an over looks really hard work, doesn't it? So there we go. As you say, it's an easy game from up here.
but that's a good start to the over for Kent, isn't
really
it? They'll feel right. Okay, we've got 6.
Smashed down the ground by Everson, and yeah, that's true. So 50 to win off 35 balls, and he goes for this one again. Flays it in the offside at 6 more.
Yeah.
Or is it? It is. Yeah. Joey Everson, where have you been?
Yeah.
Well, that's his highest score of the tournament in 2 balls. So
Ollie Robinson is signalling to the umpire that it was 6, which is very sporting of him.
Cameras here as well. Are they still waiting? Oh, they are still waiting.
Well, Ollie Robinson signalled it was 6.
I know this is. I know they have to wait for the cameras, but when the opposition are saying that's 6.
Yeah, thank you.
I know they have to check, but as you say, it does seem a bit weird.
It does seem a bit weird, doesn't it?
Everyone's already accepted it. Coles then to Everson, gone big. Oh, that's a great delivery.
Good response.
What a great response. So 12 off the first 2 balls, and Joey Everson has pushed outside the off stump. It's spun away from him, and he's left feeling for that through the wicket keeper. John Simpson, he bludgeons that one, drives it low though, up towards Robinson, and they'll take a single. But there we go.
Well, it's a big over, isn't it? You know, it's 13 off the over. If they picked up 3 singles now, that's 16 off the over. You know, that's all you need, isn't it? I mean, it's only 43 needed to win.
Yeah. I was talking the other day about something Adam Hollyoake had said about batting form. I'll go back to that in a second. As was driven by Jack Leaning. He said Keith Fletcher, Kent fans will have heard this before from me, but I told him, Adam Hollyoake, you're never more than 2 dismissals away from a slump, but you're never more than 2 boundaries away from being in form. So there we go, Joey Everson may have just, we'll see. Drives this back at the bowl, there's no run. This is a really good response from Coles. He's conceded 2 or 4 deliveries after being hit for 2 sixes off his first 2, and finishes then with, the figures have disappeared off my screen, but great bowling from James Coles, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, certainly was, certainly is. Yes, I think it's 4 overs for 20.
I think it's 24. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. But yeah, so end of the over. So Kent have fought back a little bit there. So keeping their heads above water, perhaps 107 for 6 at the end of the 15th. We're actually 7 ahead of where Sussex were. Who knows what that means at this stage? So I don't know.
So, Tamel Mills back into the attack from the Cromwell Road end, 107 road end, around the wicket. Bolster leading, steps away and hammers the ball on the onside. Now, surely they're not going to take 2 here. They've already had 2 run-outs, Kent, and Ward was in very quickly from long on to field, so keeps it to a single, does Harrison Ward. There's been some, what did I say, those 2 run-outs might have cost Kent dear, but these 2 are fighting away, 108 for 6, 41 to win. Doesn't sound a lot, but it's not been easy. And we think that Kent may only have 10 batters with Rogers. We'll have to wait and see. Mills in, bowls, Everson drives into the offside, picks up a single as coming off of the extra cover boundary is Clark.
Just keeping an eye on that game at Bristol, by the way. Gloucestershire 121 for 3, needing 73 in 29 balls against Surrey. That's a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we were talking before that we started, weren't we? That Gloucestershire just wondered if they would just keep the momentum they got to.
Yeah.
But they've run into Surrey, I think it's fair to say.
Yes. Mills down the hill, bowls. He's bowling! Took his middle stump out. And there we are, that could be really decisive, right up in the black hole. Jack Leading was trying to sight Tamel Mills out then. He was moving around in the crease, and Tamel Mills has put a Yorker straight in, middle stump out the ground. And Jack Leading goes, it's another wicket down, just as we thought maybe Kent were maybe starting to inch themselves back. Tamel Mills, who's so experienced in this format, gets the wicket, and now we'll see whether Thomas is going to come out to bat. I think he might be, you know. Is this him?
Where are we? Yeah, it doesn't look like I mean, he's very similar build to Clarkson, but I think this might be Rogers. If you just turn around and let him see his shirt, we'll find out in just a second. As he does turn, and it is Tom Rogers indeed.
Right.
Yeah.
So whatever injury he had,
yeah,
the left-hander has come out to bat.
Presumably stopped him bowling. Well, it did stop him bowling, but yeah. I mean, he hits a long ball. That's for absolutely sure.
You just feel like, how many overs has Mills has bowled?
He's in his third.
Right, so he's still got another one to fire in as Tomel Mills. But he was cleaned up there, was he, Jack Leaning?
Yeah, absolutely. Spectacular sight, as you say. We had Gilchrist demolishing 2 stumps of Coles, but that was middle stump out of the ground from Mills.
Comes into bowl 2. Rogers bowls down the leg side. That'll be a wide. Tomel Mills goes running back to his mark, looking at the cut-off time, which I think said 21. Well, the time is 21:34. I didn't see what the cut-off time was. It'll come up in a moment. Here we are, 21:48. So I think that's, well, we'll see when we get a bit here. I think they're okay at the moment. That's when the last over has to start. Another run though for Kent, 110 for 7. There's Mills over the wicket, bowls, and Rogers bowled. Another wicket goes down. Middle stump out the ground. Well, you're a brave man really if you try and play a ramp shot against Tomel Mills. Cleaned up, another wicket goes down. 2 wickets in the over, and now the pendulum has indeed swung the way of Sussex.
Yeah, Kent are away now, 109 for 8, with just Clarkson and Gilchrist remaining to come out to join Joey Evison, who himself has hit a couple of sweet boundaries, 16 from 8, but it's really on his shoulders now to try and get them there, and he just thinks Sussex are wrapping this up now. Kind of had a bit of misfortune, as you were saying, with Rogers injured early on and now bowled by Mills, but the bowling effort's been great here, and we were rather raising our eyebrows and wondering if that was the right thing to do at the toss from Sussex. Now their bowlers are proving very much, I think, that it is. They had the power in the bowling lineup to exploit this pitch. So they're doing very well indeed. 110 for 8, Kent.
So, Clarkson comes out, 2 wickets in the over from the skipper. And Sussex will feel, and Mills's figures currently 3 for 11 for Tomel Mills. He's coming in from the Cromwell Road end of the ground. Over to the right-handed Clarkson, he's in and bowls, and right up in the block hole, and Clarkson manages to nudge that one down to third man, fielded down in front of his spy, Daniel Hughes. He gets in the throw, one more to the total, 111 for 8 for Kent.
On the face of it, it's still not a massive amount of runs.
No, it's not.
25, but the problem is getting those runs at the moment, so...
Yeah, so I just want, it's clearly not been an easy pitch, but you just wonder if someone could have stayed with Bell-Drummond a bit longer and can maybe sort of rule those couple of run-outs. But it's not going to be easy now against Tomel Mills, who's got his tail up. Figures of 3 for 12 for the skipper, who's on his way in from the Cromwell Road end. In and bowls, forced off, and Evisons gets a thick outside edge down here to third man, fielded by Daniel Hughes. It means that Evisons will keep the strike, but a good round of applause for Tomel Mills. 112 for 8 at the end of the 16th over. Evisons on 17, Clarkson on 1. And Tomel Mills, all his experience, and now it's going to be Ollie Robinson who's going to come back into the attack. He's got 1 over to he's got 2 overs to bowl actually. He bowled 2 overs as Robinson. 2 overs, 1 for 21.
So he can close out from one end, certainly, can't he? And it may well be enough by that time for Kent to only have 2 wickets remaining. But Kent aren't behind by every metric, in that they are ahead of where Sussex were.
Yeah.
For 16 overs, but they've lost 2 more wickets. So, yeah, there we go.
Well, you think, Ollie Robinson's 27 runs is looking more and more important.
Yeah, absolutely right.
It really is.
The runs
without those...
14 off the last over before he went as well, so yeah.
Sussex would have been in, we were saying 130 at one stage, it looked like.
Yeah, it's a very good call. And he will bowl now to Joey Evison. And it's up in the air. It could be 6. It will be 6 over long off. They'll be checking for the height of that delivery as well, the umpires. It was certainly a full toss. It was certainly met with the full force of Joey Evison's bat. It
Yeah, they are
looked
checking
high.
it. They are going to check it.
It did look high. It's a great shot from Evison. They're just waiting for the third umpire, Nigel Long, to judge it. It's always difficult from our angle to see. No, so they're just checking. They're just checking if it's above waist height. It says Jack Chantry actually made the mime to Ollie Robinson.
But we were saying, well, this is what it needed for Kent, just someone to hang around, and if you could take the game deep and you have a big over at some stage, you never know in this format of the game. It's not a lot of runs, as you were saying, really.
And it is a no ball.
It's a
It'll be a free hit. It's a no ball. It's 6, and Jack Chantry says it's over waist height and should be a free hit. He hasn't actually signalled free hit. He signals 6.
Robinson is saying
He signals 6 and no ball.
it's a free hit.
It is a free hit. Go. Finally. There we go. Sorry, he doesn't have to do it in any particular order, does he? I think be fair to Jack Chantry. But 6 and the no ball, so 8 already, and this free hit then to start the over for Ollie Robinson, and it hits the pads of Joey Evison. He's absolutely speared it in Yorker length at Evison's pad, so he gets 1 actually. It's come off the bat, and Evison I think realises he's at the wrong end of the pitch.
Yeah,
128, 1 for 8.
I was just going to say that might have worked out in Sussex's favour in a sense, because now I don't know anything about Fred Clarson's batting, but I suppose at this stage you've got to take the runs, really. You can't rely on one batter to just see yourselves over the line. But the required run rate is only 7.3.
Yeah, 28 off 23 remaining. Robinson might think he can bowl his way to this. Slower ball, it's a full toss. They'll take a single into the onside. And Joey Evison, well, unlike Kent earlier in the innings, didn't even bother looking round after he's trotting through that single. He's no intention of going for 2, and quite rightly so. So they'll take a single. But that's effectively, well, it is 10 runs conceded off this over already and 4 balls to come.
Yeah.
So 27 off 22. Robinson to Evison, drives it in the offside. Will it be caught? No. Will it go for 4? It will just go for 4. Fantastic effort
James Cole's out
by
there.
James Coles in the offside there. But again, Evison has found the boundary. How many is that for Joey Evison now? He's hit 3 sixes and that's his first 4. He's on to 28 from 12 balls, doing what Ollie Robinson did effectively at the end of the Sussex innings.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these 2 innings have in some ways mirrored each other. 23 off 21 balls now. Robinson bowls to Evers. It's a full toss. He gets, well, a part of the bat on that. He's missed it, just taking a single.
I was going to say, you don't want to come back.
Clarkson was turning for a second.
So Finn Hudson Prentice, I just saying to Finn Hudson Prentice, be careful where you throw it. Don't throw it in, because I wasn't sure there's anyone backing up.
Right,
so
yeah.
I don't know who Hudson Prentice is on for.
Oh yeah, 33, just in front of us, yeah. 127 for 8 then. 2 balls to come of the 17th over. 22 off 20 required for Kent, but just 2 wickets in hand. Robinson bowls to Clarkson. Short ball. He pats that away for a single. Nicely done actually by Clarkson, who obviously is just trying to rotate the strike and get Evison back on. So I would say from Joey Evison's point of view, it's a single or a boundary is the required here for him. I wonder if he will go again off Robinson, or whether they'll just think, I could take a single here. We've had a good over, 16 off it so far. I wonder if just a nurdled single here. Again, Joey Evison will know much better than I will. Robinson, and he has to react to it as well, flicks it into the onside. They will take the single then. End of the over, 17 off the over. Important one for Kent. 129 for 8. They will need 20 off the last 3 overs of the last 18 balls. Goodness me.
Yeah, I mean, generally in T20 cricket, you would think that's okay, but they've only got 2 wickets in hand.
Yeah.
Well, you say Ollie Robinson, 27 for Sussex, got them to a total, and Joey Evison, as you say, is playing exactly the same sort of innings for. I would imagine Tamal Mills is going to bowl here, bowl himself out, because the skipper has got super figures, 3 for 13. And boy, does Sussex need him here now, because, I mean, is Evison thinking here, well, if we can see Mills off,
Maybe.
but it's only, I mean, it's a runner ball basically. We said this might be a tight finish, Matt.
Still might be. Yeah, I think so.
So, in comes to Mel Mills. What can he do? Running down the hill from the Cromwell Road in, bowls to Joey Everson. Everson lets that one go outside of the off stump. There is no run. It's a dot ball. Look at that cut-off time, you know, it's 21:43. 3 overs to go. So he's just hurrying back to his mark. The penalty for not getting through your overs quick enough is that you have to have an extra man inside the circle, which means clearly there's more room to hit boundaries. Theoretically, that's the idea anyway. Mills with a skip and a jump around the wicket in bowls. And Everson drives, hammers the ball down the ground. Is that going to go for... That's gone for 6. Was it for 4? Let's just wait for the umpire's signal. He's belted it down the ground, Joey Everson. Let's just wait. I think it has gone for 6, you know.
It's a shot that is, though, as well.
He's stepped
Wherever
away
it's gone.
and he's belted the ball down the ground. It is 6.
He's just gone down on one knee, as you say, and belted it back down the ground. What a shot that is from Joey Everson.
135 for 8. And all of a sudden, Kent need 14 to win.
Off 16 balls.
Mills. In and bowls. Everson drives through the offside. They're going to take the single. I wonder about the merits of that. We were saying, do Kent... I think Sussex will be quite pleased to give the single.
Mills will be thinking, with his variation, even if he doesn't get Clarkson out, you might get him to play and miss a couple of times and just use up a couple of deliveries.
I just wonder whether Sussex get a few people on the one here, you know. I mean, in fact, that's what they are going to do. They're bringing 5 inside the circles there.
I think they have to at this point,
yes,
don't they?
Looking to, I might have also put a slip in place, because Sussex need a wicket here. 13 to win.
Everson has 37 off 17 at the moment.
They are moving men outside the fence now. In comes Mills. Around the wicket bowls. Everson prods it onto the onside. There's a live crowd. No, it's a dot ball. Well, sometimes in T20 cricket you can have good games if they're low-scoring games.
Absolutely.
You know, and this is a terrific game. I've still got Sussex as favourites.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because, you know, 1 ball. But Tamel Mills only with 2 balls left to bowl now. Comes in bowls to Clarkson. Clarkson defends into the offside. They're going to take a single. He didn't quite know where that had gone. It's a thickish outside edge. Goes to backward point, but it's one closer to the target, which now is 137 for 8. 12 needed to win. 13 balls remaining. It sounds straightforward for Kent. The only problem is they've only got 2 wickets left. And this game is so important in the context of this group. You know, if Kent lose, we think they're pretty much out the competition.
So there's 19 balls for Kent to try and keep themselves in this competition.
In comes Mills.
Sorry, 13 balls.
Around the wicket, bowls to... Ooh, Everson. Well, with a play and a miss, good delivery by Tamel Mills. So, the skipper is bowled out, which will be a relief as far as Kent is concerned. Super figures, though, from Tamel Mills, who's taken 3 wickets in the match. Now, who's going to bowl this over? It looks to me like it's going to be the big Australian Nathan McAndrew, who's going to bowl from the C end of the ground. So Tamel Mills, 4 overs, 3 for 21. Very good indeed by Mills.
Yeah, brilliant. McAndrew.
But just 12 to win.
Well, still not making any predictions, Adrian.
No.
You'd be foolish to at this point, wouldn't you? What a game, though. Definitely going to the last 2 overs, maybe even the last one here. Clarkson faces McAndrew and just clips that down to fine leg. That was his job, get the single. Well, actually a single ball will just about do it, won't it?
Well, it would, I mean, I wonder what Evisons does here. Does he think to himself, well, Clarkson is doing okay, do I just pick up the singles, or does he go for the big shot? I think you probably pick up the singles, don't you? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, from a Kent point of view, Evisons has kept him in the game.
He's hit the ball very well, you'd have to say, and I think, you know, a boundary, he probably doesn't want to leave it to the last over unless he can avoid it, so who knows? McAndrew to Everson, it's a short ball.
Will it be a...
They say...
Oh!
They say it's 1 for the over. There we go.
1 for the over.
It's not the wide. I think it's about right as well. It's
I think that was fair. I think that was good.
It's a really good slower ball bouncer, and it wasn't that Everson couldn't hit it, he hesitated, didn't he?
Yes.
Because it was going through so slowly. I think he was there early. He decided not to take it on, but I don't think it was too high. No, that's absolutely right. Hittable. And that's in the block. Oh, that would have been run out. No. Goodness me.
Nathan McHenry decided not that it would have conceded a single. Now he's running back because Sussex are worried about the cut-off time here, you know.
He's driven straight back at McAndrew. In the act of taking the ball, he's turned round, seen Klaassen out of his ground, thought about throwing down the stumps, just kept it there. Dot ball, 11 to win off 9 for Kent then. It's a full toss into the offside from Everson. One bounce, 4 runs. And was it again over waist height?
The umpires are looking at each
Double
other.
checking that. It's definitely 4. It's definitely 4. Let's have a look at this replay.
Oh, it was, I think.
Goodness me, it's not far off waist height.
I wouldn't be surprised,
If it's above, it's going to be a free hit. It's going to, and will be a no ball. So that was 11 from 9. It's 7 from 8 at the very least at this point.
Well, it could be 6
Exactly.
to win. If this is given as a free hit.
It could be 6 to win off a free
Yes.
hit. Indeed, yeah. It's 4.
No, it's not a free hit.
It's not a free
So
hit.
it was okay.
There we go. Sorry, 7 from 8. I beg your pardon. It would have been 7 from 9, wouldn't it? If
Yes.
I suppose if it had been a no ball. But there we go. 7 from 8 then. 142 for 8. McAndrew comes in trying to take these wickets. It's clipped away behind square, shy at the stumps at the striker's end. But Everson has scrambled through for a single. 6 off 7. Goodness me, what a game.
Well, they've got Everson. Sussex got to make this count here because Everson. I wonder whether Klaassen decides to defend here and make sure Everson is on strike for the final over. But then he's putting a big. You know, he's still got to score the 6 runs. I mean, you know, these two have put on 33.
Now, does Klaassen take a risk here, thinking this is a shot to nothing?
Yes,
because Everson's at the other end.
Yeah, I guess if he hits it for 6, it wins the game. Crumbs hadn't thought of that.
And so he could just let Gilchrist be the non-striker for the final over, more or less. But not many wickets to play with. McAndrew to Klaassen. Oh, they've taken the single.
Bit surprised at that.
I suppose as well. 5 off the final 6. Well,
that was an expensive over, wasn't it?
I hope you've enjoyed it so far, listeners, on BBC Sussex, BBC Radio Kent, on DAB and on the BBC Sport website and app. We've got an absolute thriller here at Hove. 6 balls remaining. Kent need 5 to win. They've only got 2 wickets to play with. Everson has scored 42 off 22. He's been the absolute pick of the batters in terms of clean hitting. He's got himself 3 6s and 2 4s. Sorry, 4 6s and 2 4s so far. But Sussex have Klaassen, Kent's number 10, on strike. And this will be the final over.
Danny Lamb, I think.
Danny Lamb, great idea from Sussex. Could have been, who else did they have?
Well, could have been
Ollie
Robinson.
Could have absolutely been Ollie Robinson, but Everson took him to task, didn't he, in this previous over. They're trusting Danny Lamb, who's gone for 15 off his 3 and has been very difficult to hit bowling his medium pacers. I think this is a great call from Tamal Mills.
Well, he could have gone Crocombe, but Henry Crocombe is, relatively inexperienced. I mean, he's played, but Lamb is the experienced man.
I think making them play the shots as well at this point. If Klaassen, he could run a ball down to third for 4 if it's going quick enough. But can they deceive him here with Lamb slower bowling? Okay, 5 runs to win, 6 balls remaining. Adrian Harms.
Well, let's see what happens. Danny Lamb comes running in, bowls to Klaassen, and Klaassen drives onto the onside. They're going to take a single. Is he going to run about? No, he's not. He's got through. He's got through for the single. The throw came in. I think you should take over commentary here, Matt, because it's just 4 to win now for Kent.
Oh, I don't know about that. They've scrambled to for single.
Well, let's see. Well,
perhaps we could do alternate deliveries.
yes.
I don't know. But
4 to win off 5 balls.
Yeah, 4 or 5. And we're staying past 10 o'clock, by the way. I know the programme switch over for Kent and Sussex at 10, but don't worry, we're staying with the cricket fans. And you're not going to miss a bar of this.
There's a lot. I was just looking. There's a gap over sort of extra cover, isn't there? Then on the legs, well, they got 2 fielders gone. I mean, what pressure there is on here.
Yeah, I mean, he is a very, very cool character. Is Joey Evison. So He won't be easily phased. Adam Hollyoake was certainly paying tribute to the way he'd seen Kent through 2 very tight draws in the county championship with important innings, but this is something different entirely. 42 off 22. He'd scored, I think, 22 runs before in the whole of the blast so far in this competition. He might just keep them in the competition. Danny Lamb will be hoping he doesn't. Bowls to Evison now. It's a slow ball into the onside. They're going to come back for a second. Will they make it through? Comes in. They will make it. Really well run too. And it's 2 off 4 now Kent will need. It was well judged in the end.
If it's a tie, it doesn't go to wickets down, does it?
No,
a tie is a tie.
A tie is a tie indeed. And no super over in the group stages. So
that was an important 2, actually.
It really was, yeah. So they need 2 here.
Well, they might just decide to take 1 here and then leave Klaassen. I think if they get a chance for a single, they have to take it, don't they?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's 4 balls to go.
Sussex have got. Look at Sussex have got 5 men inside the circle here.
Yeah, saving the single on the offside. 1 on the onside. Lamb goes for it through the inner corner. No, it's 4 runs. Joey Evison, little punch of the air. What an innings by Joey Evison has been. He's brought Kent back from the absolute brink of disaster. He scores 4 runs there to take them home. He goes on to 48 off 24 balls with 3 4s and 4 6s. And Kent have squeaked home with a couple of deliveries to spare and won by 2 wickets. What a contest that was. Ebbed and flowed through both innings. Sussex looked
shell-shocked,
cruising at 78 for 2, absolutely beaten at 118 for 7, and then made it to 148 in total. Kent at 88 for 6, 110 for 8 looked like they were completely done for, with Tamal Mills taking wickets, a couple of run-outs as well. But Joey Evison has come in at batting at number 7 and has hit a fantastic innings there. As I said, I think it's 48 off 24 balls, and he has taken his side home. Kent stay in it. They're now level on points with Sussex. They're level on points with Hampshire.
Well,
just a handful of games to go. 4 for Sussex, 3 for Kent, 3 for Hampshire. Goodness me, what a contest, Adrian Harms.
Well, it really was. First of all, many congratulations to Kent. And I think all the way through the match, we were saying that the Kent run rate, it was 8, 9 and over. If someone could just come in and score some runs, a couple of big overs, that's exactly what Joey Evison did. He took that Ollie Robinson over on. And, from then on, it was just a case of being sensible. But, Everson has won the game. Magnificent performance by him. Kent were dead and buried, weren't they? Let's be honest, they were 110 for 8. And they were out of it. But it just goes to show if you played sensibly on the pitch, get some big overs, and well, for Sussex, they look absolutely shell-shocked at the end. Terrific performance. Well done, Kent.
Well, goodness me, what an absolute thriller between these two sides. And as we were both saying, pivotal for both of them. For Kent, it looked like they were out of the competition had they lost this one, and they have won by 2 wickets with 3 balls remaining. Joey Evison top scored in the match, perhaps fittingly actually, getting past Daniel Bell-Drummond's 47 with that last 4, 3 4s and 4 6s in a 2-run a ball 48. No one else batted like him, and it needed someone to be heroic for them. Goodness me. So that is the end of the game here. Wow. I think we'll go and have a bit of a sit down in a darkened room, Adrian Harms and I. Thrilling finish. Kent home to Somerset on Friday is their next game. They probably need to win that one and the next 2 as well. For Sussex, Adrian?
Well, Sussex go to Essex and then they play Hampshire away on Sunday. So these are all vital matches. I think Hampshire play tomorrow night against Glamorgan as well, so that's going to be very important as well. So this group, I can see Surrey have beaten Gloucestershire as well, so Gloucestershire probably out of it now. But my word, it's between Glamorgan, Hampshire, Sussex and Kent for those 2 of those 4 to make it into it's going to go right to the wire, I think.
Yeah, so join us for the next instalments coming up on Friday for our respective stations. Of course, you'll hear reaction in our breakfast bulletins to this game as well. An absolute squeaker between Sussex and Kent. Kent getting their own back for a defeat last Friday, but in an absolutely close run thing. Thank you so much for listening on BBC Radio Kent at DAB and online From myself, Matt Cole and Adrian Harms, it's good night on BBC Radio Kent DAB. We return you to Cathy